All right, guys. This is Going Dutch Radio Network. And guess what, guys? We're back. Going Dutch Radio Network podcast number 26. Guys, we were not going to do a podcast tonight, even though we normally do go live on Saturday nights. Because it is my birthday. But you know what? Time opened up, and God said, let there be light. So, we're here.
Happy birthday, by the way.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you're 27 years old.
27 years old.
That's a great age.
Is it a great age?
No, wait, we were talking about
Really?
that last time. Okay, hold on. We need to make sure we're not, like, repeating ourselves.
I know. People
like Jesus Christ.
You know what's going to happen is, like, someone's going to watch our first video, just
Yeah.
like this past Thursday.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, let's try the next one. They're like, oh, wait, this is the same one. Okay, let's
I'm
get
wearing a different shirt, though, so I
You
think
are.
That
I know, I'm wearing the same shirt. She told me to wear the
Thank
shirt, I
God
swear.
I'm wearing a different shirt.
I know. I mean, what shirt were you wearing last time?
I think my Kansas City Royals.
Oh.
I think.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
it was. I don't remember.
Guys, we are live right now, Saturday night. It is 9:13 p.m. And we have actually a little bit of a set list. We have a few topics to actually talk about tonight versus how it was this past Thursday. If anyone's watching live right now, please let us know with a comment or call in 636-926-6945, people. So what are we going to talk about other than my birthday?
Well,
hey, how about this? I'll talk about what I did for my birthday first.
There
because
you
it's
go.
kind of pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
be totally self-centered and asshole like I
Okay.
normally am. Yes, it is my birthday officially today, September 29th, on that faithful day, 1991, or 1990 fun, really, since I was born on that year. We celebrated the birthday yesterday. We went to a preseason Blues game, which we always do, or at least we always try to do every year.
yeah.
Yes, one that the tickets are cheap, and it's just there's not as many people, so it's not just like crammed up. But
Yeah.
we got club tickets, club seats, and dude, they fucking renovated the shit out of the Blue Stadium, which is now called Enterprise Center instead of Scottrade.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
So wait, so it's not called Scottrade anymore?
No, Scottrade is gone. Scott's gone. It's Enterprise. So we'll pick you up. Ugh.
I don't like that.
I know, it's kind of fucking weird.
Aren't
isn't
you
it?
tired of these, like, like all the stadiums are named after the corporation that just threw money at them so they could have their name advertised?
Yes.
I fucking hate that so much.
But see, I think think about it. You know, it probably costs millions of dollars just to have a name on a building, just to have a name,
yeah.
just to be able to call it like, where you going, Enterprise Center?
Yeah.
Like, do you think it's worth the millions of dollars of advertising? Like, do you think that is made back by calling it Enterprise?
It must, or, they wouldn't be spending the money to do it.
So,
I guarantee it.
Are we going to be the next ones to call Scottrade Center, formerly, which is now Enterprise? Are we going to call it Going Dutch Radio Podcast Center?
Eventually, yeah.
I think
in about 15, 20 years, we'll be that big. We can buy a fucking stadium and have our name on it.
Think of this, Howard Stern. He's big enough. He's making billions. He
Yeah.
could easily. Do you think he has a Howard Stern Center?
No, well, I think Sirius Satellite Radio could afford to put their name on it.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. What's the most fucked up stadium name that you've heard? There's one of them that's pretty funny. It has to do with like...
There's like a Comcast Stadium.
No, Petco. Petco, that's fucking Philadelphia or something? I don't even know, guys. Guys, I don't know. We're live. Saturday night right now, 9:16 p.m. This is Going Dutch Radio Network.
Didn't Enron have a stadium? Remember Enron, the company that was completely...
Was there like oil
cooking the
dripping like from like the name of the billboard or whatever the fuck it's called?
I don't know. I
That's
could have
pretty
sworn
awesome.
that they were such high rollers back in the day that they like put their name on a stadium or something.
That's fucking bullshit.
I have to do some research into that.
Should be illegal, motherfuckers. So let's list the topics, and pretty much you made them all up, and I like it. We're gonna go with the Blue podcast. Yes, I am CJ, your host. To the left of me, or the camera's right, he's wearing blue, and yes, his name is Blue as well.
It's kind of blue.
So
There's
how's it
some
going?
white in there.
How's it going tonight? Tell me how your day has gone since you said you've been kind of taking it easy.
Yeah, I was just, kind of kicking around the old place tonight, and I didn't really do much today, so I really don't have much energy, If I go out and, like have that stimuli and everything, that kind of gets me going,
And
but I'm no.
That's good, man. You see, I'm definitely a proponent of, like I just said right before we went live, I'm like, laziness builds more laziness. Energy builds more energy, man.
Yeah.
If you stay busy, you, guess what, stay busy. If
Stay
you
energetic, yeah.
If you get lazy and you just go, just kind of, what's that one commercial whenever like they do pop for the first time, they kind of like melt onto the floor like a puddle.
That actually happened to me the first time I did pod.
The first time you smoked weed, what happened?
I melted. I melted into the ground. It was laced with something, but eventually I solidified again, and I was okay.
Are you kind of being serious? I feel like I think you're kind of serious. I can tell by the look of it.
No. I mean, it was a terrible experience.
Were you tripping hard, like super paranoid, or what?
Yeah. Because I know that weed affects people differently, but whenever I did it for the first time, like I was afraid to go outside. I thought I was gonna get busted, and I was really paranoid. Yeah. And then there's other people who do it and they're just completely fine. Like it's, like a duck taken to water.
Have you smoked weed like multiple times, like more than once?
Sure.
I mean, how was your trips, or how was smoking weed since your first time? Since the first time was so terrible, did you?
I guess as I got older, I could deal with it a little bit better.
Well, let me ask you this:
experience.
Weren't you super nervous to try it the second time since the first time was so fucking bad?
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. I was terrified. It might have been laced with something. I don't even know. Yeah, and that's why it's so scary to buy marijuana when it's illegal from a drug dealer, because you don't know if they're putting some crazy shit in there, and you smoke it, and then before you know it, you're tripping. Yeah.
Not only that, just think about it, people. I mean, you know how many times after it goes through Mexico, how many baskets of drug dealers it goes through before it just gets to St. Louis? Imagine like once you get to Canada, where weed doubles because of trying to get it there. One drug dealer sells it to the next, sells it to the next, sells it. It's just, the markup's got to be crazy.
Yeah, and I guess it doesn't make a whole lot of business sense to lace it with something because you're spending that much more money. If you put a little dusting of heroin in there.
Right. It's not like you get to watch your people that are smoking it
eventually.
Yeah,
you don't know who's doing what, and so.
Right.
I guess it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But still, these are people who are in a line of work where you got to be a little bit nutty to begin with to get into.
You think so? I think people just
unless you're just desperate or something. I mean, if you're poor, what are you gonna do?
I mean, are you talking about like the full-time drug dealer that's what they do for essentially a living? That's their bread and butter?
Yeah, the people who want to become the Scarfaces of the industry.
Now the people who want to be Scarfaces, man, I think they're being entrepreneurs. The Scarfaces who are trying to sell drugs. And I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying it's pretty interesting. But the drug dealers that are like grinding, so to speak, every day just to try to make money, maybe they're making pretty decent money, right? They might be. You never know.
Well, there was a book that came out, I think, 10 years ago called Freakonomics, and
I've heard of it.
Yeah. God, I feel like we talk about this on the show. But anyway, they did some research and determined that your average, corner drug dealer, like if you go to East St. Louis or downtown, they make about $4 an hour. They make way below minimum wage.
Selling
They don't
what?
make any money.
Selling anything?
Crack, heroin, you name it.
Get the fuck out of here.
They did the research. Now,
guys, if anyone's a drug dealer, I guess you can't really comment on Facebook, but
we'll keep you anonymous.
Just tell me you know a guy or you know a girl who. Let me know how much the average drug dealer makes, or if you know somebody that makes a ton of money. I'm just curious how much they're making and how.
Well, they were talking about,
especially in St. Louis,
at the when you're at the very bottom, you're just getting in. You make nothing, but there's always promotions. There's always the possibility of, Do
you think there's like a legit meeting where it's like, hey, Jimmy,
you did your numbers are going up.
Yes.
We're really happy with you. We're gonna, give you this street corner or something.
And here's an 8-ball of crack in case you need it for tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, we have some pizza that Blue wanted, and she was so nice. She actually made it. You're not going to be in the camera, no matter what. It's right here.
Yeah, it's right on the paint.
You're fine. Look where the camera. There's no possible way. Just hand it over, put it on the table. You're fine.
Yeah, just scoot it over.
Oh my God, they stole your hand. They stole your hand. She's so nervous about going on the show.
I feel like I need to share this with you.
Oh my God, show the camera. If it's possible without letting it spill. That is pizza from Going Dutch Radio Network.
You can't really tell.
Is that St. Louis style or what?
I don't know what style is this. It's from Waterloo. This is Waterloo pizza.
So it's not St. Louis.
No. This is
sick fuck.
This is Illinois pizza. So,
guys, it's my birthday. I'm 27. I feel so special. How's that pizza?
Oh my God, man.
Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay. It's really awkward. That's why I like this awkward silence. All right, guys, we're live right now, Saturday night. It is Saturday night. It is 9:21 p.m. Please comment, call in 636-926-6945. If anybody's watching right now, please just let us know. Please drop a comment. It really does help. It's kind of weird how it works on Facebook and advertising and promoting, but you guys have no idea. So, do reading books really make you smarter? Blue, do reading books really make you smarter?
I think the jury's still out on that. I know that a lot of people who do, from my own personal experience, people who read books, they're usually better at deep conversation.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like they have more substantive things to talk about. But does it actually make you smarter? Does it make you, in terms of, functioning well in society, being successful? I don't think so at all. I think it does the opposite. I think it makes you think too much.
I think reading books as a whole is probably beneficial to your brain, so to speak. I think it definitely does make you smarter. I think your IQ will probably go up eventually, unless it's... Now, it can also make you a little crazy if you're just reading nothing but fiction, I think. Like these crazy, space
like
stories.
Dune and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and all that stuff.
Or maybe it opens your mind. Maybe it makes your mind open up more and explore. You know what I mean? Like maybe it makes you open up as a person and open your brain, so to speak. You never know.
We're talking about as far as success goes. Like if you want to be a really successful person.
I love what you're eating right now on the podcast.
I'm so hungry, and this is amazing pizza. I think reading books can be detrimental to you being successful in like a business or something like that, because all it does, from my own experience, is it kind of gives you pause whenever you're doing something. You're constantly thinking, you're like, well, should I do this or shouldn't I do this? What way should I do this? You're constantly kind of weighing, a lot of different things that you normally wouldn't if you hadn't read the book.
But, yeah, so are you trying to say the more knowledge that a person has,
yes,
the more options they have to choose from?
I mean, knowledge is good to a certain point. There was a play that came out years ago called Everything I Need to Learn, I Learned in Kindergarten.
The basics of life.
The basics of life.
Yeah. What not to do, what to do, all that shit.
And then there's, grade school, you learn multiplication and subtraction and all that stuff. And then you kind of get into this kind of murky, complex territory where you're kind of taught to think differently. You're supposed to think one way, but you're also supposed to think a different way. You're supposed to, see things not just from the way that you see them, but the way that other people see them.
Right.
Other people with other opinions and different, and that's where I think people get into trouble. Like I went to college,
right? And
before I went to college, I felt like I was a completely different person as far as how I, my viewpoints of the world.
In a good way? More beneficial than after college?
I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't know if going to college essentially ruined me or if it made me a better person. So I guess the best way that because you did not go to college, correct?
Correct.
And so if you looked at both our lives objectively, so you had Cody on one side, Jeff on the other.
CJ, Blue.
Sorry.
It's okay. Doesn't
matter. So Blue goes to the university. CJ,
I literally started at Schnucks.
But you ended up dropping out of high school, didn't you?
Right.
Yeah. So you
GED, everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So you would think from that stance, you'd say Blue would be more successful.
Definitely. On paper. On
paper, there's no doubt.
Yeah, no names, no nothing. You just read the analytics, the stats of somebody.
Correct.
And
I'm just using us as an example because I know both, you very well. But I think that this is something that they need to study. They really need to study it because I think you approach life so much differently than I did because I had this whole, something was kind of injected into my brain whenever I went to college.
Right.
And what they injected into my brain is that I don't view the world as sort of like I do, you go to work, you do a job, you make money, you try to do better each time. You try to climb the ladder.
Right.
The way that I was taught is it's really not about the money. It's not about this whole, cut and dry, black and white type of viewpoint. It's more, for lack of a better term, complex. It's more complex.
So maybe you're making it to, quote unquote, complex.
Like so.
Or maybe you're overthinking it of getting a better job or using your degree to the fullest potential. Is that kind of what you mean?
The way that you view success in life is.
Dude, there's spiders dropping on us.
No shit.
Dude,
and the microphone's really loud and everything.
Well, that's because
It's completely throwing me off.
You're barely peaking at all, so because it's not close enough.
Oh, all right.
I know that you're eating, so I didn't want to make it too big of a deal.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
So
okay, go ahead. All right, guys. Right now we're talking about reading books. Does it make you smarter, or does it possibly make you, more dumb, or maybe it actually makes you a failure reading too many books?
I think it does.
So, Blue, go on about you're getting a degree and what has it done or not done for you?
But I think what success is defined differently in college than it is not in college. And when you don't go to college, particularly like a liberal arts college like I did,
right?
You define success as a paycheck, in which you should, because that determines your quality of life. Mm-hmm. But in college, they say, hey, forget that. It's not really about that. It's about, something more spiritual and intellectual.
Your career.
Your career, social activism.
Do what makes you feel good, and the money will follow type of thing, I guess?
It's... They don't even bring up money at all, really. And I've known people who have gotten business degrees from there, and they're not particularly successful either. It seems like
is it fucking Webster University? I mean, what the fuck?
Well, no.
What's going on?
The guy who called in yesterday, John Seymour, he's, as far as I know, was a successful radio producer. So what I'm saying isn't something that you can apply to everybody, but I feel a lot of people who I know personally who went to college, they are not making a lot of money, and there has to be a reason why.
That's interesting. I mean, is it the collective group that you know personally, or did you guys meet at college where there's no?
Well, no, there's people at Shop and Save who I worked with who have college degrees, and they're not making. Well, I mean, they're working at Shop and Save.
So I think the common denominator is Shop and Slave.
No,
it kind of sounds like it. Let's be honest.
But there's people who I know outside of Shop and Save who have degrees who aren't making a whole lot of money.
Right.
And well, from what I gather, we all kind of share this kind of outsider slacker type attitude. Like, we're sort of better than people who want to go out and make a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like those are the people who don't get it. They don't get that life is about more than just making money. But then as you mature, you kind of figure out that what you were talking about is in a way it's kind of bullshit. There is obviously more to life than a paycheck.
Than making money, obviously. But you need to make money to live.
Yeah, but you go too far with it when you're in college. That sort of becomes your mode of thinking, which is I don't want to go to that whole corporate climb the ladder thing. That's for other people.
Guys, if anyone's watching live right now, please let us know your comments. Is college is college a great thing? Is college going to make you automatically a lot of money? Or let us know your stories and thoughts of college debt and situations and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't have to be too personal. I mean, obviously you don't have to explain your whole life unless you want to. But yeah, definitely comment. Call us 636-926-6945. We are live Saturday night at 9:30 p.m. We're live right now, people. No joke. No oak. Yeah, as far as me, not going to college.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
And, realistically, I always felt like I had something to prove because education. And because I had something to prove, that's why, you always say oh, you seem like you work your ass off. You never really see me work my ass off in the past 5 years or so. With that being said, you just assume that I do. I don't know why. I actually don't know why you assume that. It's kind of interesting.
Well, I assume you work your ass off because you've gotten to where you've gotten. So you didn't walk in there with a degree where you're automatically guaranteed a job. No, you had to work. Right. You had to prove yourself to get there. That's why I assume that.
I walked in, literally okay, well, we're going to start you off. I even said I kind of wanted a, assistant manager position. That's what was open at my current work. I'm not going to say where I work. I don't want to talk. I never want to talk about that. Ever. No matter what. But I can talk about work. just not the name. And yeah, whenever I got hired on, hey, there is no assistant manager position available right now, but you can, as long as we like you and everything's going great, we'll try to promote you, blah, blah, blah. It usually takes 2 or 3 years, to at least try to get to that level, and then, take over whatever. Well, it actually, what ended up happening was, end up, working out perfectly. In 9 months, I got promoted 3 times.
Yeah. And that's amazing. So clearly they saw something in you, and it must have been hard work.
I just worked my dick off, and they know that I work my ass off.
So
they know.
So
they
you're saying
do know.
that you do work hard,
right? And I'm not perfect. I'm not like absolutely perfect at work. I mean, there's always gonna be faults, but I do work my dick off.
Yeah,
I am a perfectionist, and I have extreme OCD now than when I used to, 5-6 years ago.
But like, to go back to from my point of view about being a college graduate. It seems like they don't instill in you that common sense, that sort of worker mentality of you got to work hard. Like A to B to C. It's very simple. It's but it requires hard work. It requires obviously some talents. But if you graduate college, that is completely buried under a whole lot of, in my opinion, bullshit. A lot of bullshit about. Because I even took a class called Vocation, and it was basically looking within. It was a very spiritual class. We literally did nothing but talk about, kind of meditate on what would be the perfect, vocation for us you get really almost ridiculously in depth thinking about what your career is supposed to be.
You almost get too deep.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
Where
you're overthinking it. It's almost too much. It's too pushy.
Yeah, and I think they turn students out of these universities. Not just mine, but ones nationwide. And these kids go out and they're not approaching work with a common sense attitude. They're approaching it with, like I said before, I don't want to start at a company and work my way up and all that. No. No, it has to be something more than that. It can't just be this 9-to-5 existence. I can't do that. And, before you know it, 10 years have passed and you're still working at 7-Eleven or whatever.
Well, and I think partially, the problem, not necessarily a problem. It's just, okay, so, someone gets their, let's say bachelor's, even master's degree, or even a PhD. Well, once you get your PhD, obviously you're kind of settled in wherever you're at because you're just trying to, advance in that particular art, so to speak. But, once you get your bachelor's or even your master's, you're kind of like, okay, in my head, I have to stick with this. I have to find a field in whatever I just got a degree in. And I think it psychologically messes people up. It really does, man. It absolutely does. Yeah. And another, partial problem is, college these days is like the high school. It is like a high school, diploma, so to speak. You know what I mean? So, two wrongs don't make it right, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, are you happy? Legitimately, are you happy? Not just monetarily, just in general, are you a happy person? Like, do you feel like you're happy in where you're at in life?
Some days I am, other days I'm not, but I can always go back to that well of...
Well...
which I think religion teaches as...
oh, God, here we go.
No,
here we go, people.
I see a lot of similarities between religion and the university experience in that you're kind of taught, at least I was, that if you're the big, bad manager and you're basically kind of... if you're downsizing or firing people or manipulating or taking advantage of people for your own monetary gain, you're a very bad person.
Well, it's
religion kind of teaches that, like Christianity. Well, and it kind of does because
you would think religion would be
it's really
morals and how to be good to people.
That kind of is a moral. Like, well, I don't want to be that kind of person to other people where I'm willing to do whatever I have to do to become wealthy. But
I can see that.
And that's what universities do. They look down upon, really wealthy, kind of Donald Trumpian type, entrepreneur people. They hate those kinds of people.
Jeez.
They really do.
Interesting. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Most entrepreneurs have always been, I don't want to say a big failure, but a lot of entrepreneurs kind of
didn't go to college.
No. I mean, I'd say at least 50% probably went to college, but something not necessarily bad happened in their life. But with entrepreneurs who are like multimillionaire, billionaires, it seems like half of them literally something not so good happened in their life, like they lost a job, or they like someone in their like really close in their family like died, like their fucking daughter or son, it's just something extreme, and that just is something clicked, and it just a couple of years later somehow they started a company randomly, because you know what it is. I think entrepreneurs, there's a big risk. And you have to risk all your money. You have to risk everything. You have to risk your name, the debtors, the debt collectors, whatever. You have to risk
They aren't soft.
Everything.
They aren't.
You can't
They
be,
aren't
man.
softened by considering other people. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but they aren't deterred by the idea. Well, I'm gonna hurt this person's feelings, or I'm gonna maybe step on this person.
Right.
You have to do it, or else your ass is gonna be grass.
It's a dog eat dog world.
Yeah, but when you're at a university, even more so than a high school, that is seen as almost sacrilegious. Like you can't view the world that way, because that's the wrong way to do it. If you want to be a good person, you have to treat people equally, and by God, you have to consider other people's feelings and opinions.
Right.
And to me, that stifles you from achieving what you want to achieve, as sad as that is.
The company that I work for now, I'm not just saying this just in case he might happen to be watching, and I'm not, but this is legit. And I think almost everybody in the company that we work, that we all, this boss, so to speak, he works his ass off just as hard as me or anybody else, and
respect.
He is one of the most fucking respectful people I've ever met.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, honestly, but think of every boss that you've ever worked for. Most of them are assholes, right?
Was he ex-military?
I don't believe so. But it's very interesting, and I can't explain it, man. I cannot explain it. Like this boss, that guy, seriously, I can't explain it. He works his dick off, and he means well, and he's actually a good person. Like, when bad things happen, when good things happen, disciplinary, whatever it is. I'm not going to talk about it anymore with work, but my boss, like, he knows what he's doing, and he doesn't look at people as a number. Like he's, you know what I'm saying? I can't fucking explain it. I've never met a boss like that. Most bosses are just assholes. Because they have to be like, I'm an asshole because I have to do this and I have to do that, and it's all about the numbers. Well, okay, yeah, money does matter, of course, if it's to everybody. I mean, it's a business. What are we trying to do? Make more money. Okay, everybody's trying to make more money. But at the end of the day, this guy is like just a kick-ass, amazing boss. I'm serious. I'm not just trying to fluff it up just in case he might be watching. I mean, anybody that I work with, literally every single employee that has would, if they were hearing this right now, would seriously agree, and I bet my life on it. On my life, I'm serious.
Well, I'm kind of interested to know what he does exactly to make you respect him so much.
Dude, I don't want to talk too much about work anymore.
Yeah.
But I'll talk to you after the show.
Has he read a lot of books?
That's kind of ironic. I like the segue. Kind of the 360. Well, I don't know.
I know that we started off talking about like reading too many books, but
right,
I mean that's basically education, itself in
I think he might be educated. I think he is. I think. Yeah. I don't really know him that too terribly well.
Right.
But he's a good guy. So I'm gonna leave it at that. So let's stop talking about work.
Okay, we won't talk about work. But to use something of a metaphor, whenever I look at the college educated people and the people who aren't, and obviously it doesn't apply to everybody, but like I kind of see myself as like the English and the non-educated people as the Americans during the Revolutionary War.
Like, I kind of mean
like you were just so like stringent, and you have the wig on, and you're all lined up, and you have this chip on your shoulder.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, really, that is how it is, and you're just so outfoxed and outsmarted by the competition. In the job market. that's what we're talking about is
in,
the job
in,
market.
in the American, which you think? So you're saying the English? The English is rigid,
very rigid,
structured. High school, college, blah
they
blah blah blah.
consider,
Do this.
you know, the whole gentlemanly way to conduct a war.
Well, that totally makes sense because Americans fled because they wanted freedom and they wanted to think outside the box. Outside the box that they weren't allowed to believe in and to be religious.
Yeah, and that's what I think it might be a weakness of university education is that that's like reinstilled in you, this idea of being a gentleman or a lady. You know, you speak better, you think more highly, you have, you know, you have better ideas, you see life from multiple angles. Like
Right.
I think that hinders you in this war of making fucking money. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I mean, I think college.
Do I make any sense at all?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, yes and no. Yes and no. Sorry.
Right.
My nose itches.
It's very hard to describe. I'd have to like sit down and fucking like write it out. Maybe I should have done that before the show, but
well, I mean, right now, guys,
it's something I'm very passionate about because it affected me personally.
Right? Does college really help you? Does college really get you that extra mile? And
No.
you know, what has it done? You know, for us or not for us or anything? You know, at the end of the day, I you know, if you just work your ass off, if you go to college, it will benefit you more, I believe. Here's the thing. The problem is
If you can keep that edge, though.
yes, maybe that edge, but the problem is like I just said, if you work your ass off, anybody can make a decent living or a good living. But having a college degree, I think, definitely helps a little bit more. But with that being said,
on paper,
but the problem is going to school can put you in so much debt.
Oh yeah, of course.
Here's the thing:
we're not talking about that.
if college was free or very, very cheap, maybe like 70s, 80s type of tuition cheap,
like Merrimack, yeah.
Okay, I mean, yes. Then it would be a whole nother ballgame. You know what I mean? It would make, I think, a lot of people would do a lot better in life. I feel like a lot more people would try to be more successful or try to yearn for more. But everybody.
But no,
I don't know, man.
Well, that's sort of the problem. Is this yearning for more? You end up, almost reaching so high that you don't, actually compete in the job market, which is, kind of like you said, dog eat dog.
Yeah, man.
You're kind of pie in the sky. You're thinking, your head's in the clouds. You aren't thinking realistically at all. It's all about finding, the great vocation, the great life.
Well,
searching.
Right. If you're going to college, you can't, and I don't think college kids can expect once they get out of college with a degree, a bachelor's, or, even trying to go for their master's, to just their first job out of college with their degree. They can't expect to get a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 salary a year. You're going to have to start on the fucking bottom of the totem pole.
Yep.
And a lot of people and a lot of fucking kids right out of college cannot accept that, I feel like. I feel like that's kind of the sense. It's like,
well, no, because
whenever I start, I'm supposed to be making minimal 50, 60. How else am I going to pay my fucking bills?
Well, because they sell that to you. They're salesmen. They say, whenever you get out of here, you're going to have a good job. And that's the minimum you can expect out of this education. If anything, if you're better than the average person who's sitting next to you in this class right now, you're going to be $80,000 won't be nothing. You'll be making millions of dollars, and you'll be doing something great, something for humanity, something that you can be proud of.
Right,
you're going to have awards on your mantle. That's kind of what they sell there, and people don't talk about that enough.
Right.
Whenever I was in high school, my counselor, it was like my junior year in high school, sat me down, and she's like, what college do you want to go to? I mean, they were pushing it left
So your
and right.
counselor, high school counselor, said, Blue, sit down. You're like, okay. Blue.
Yeah. You're going to college.
You're going to college.
Motherfucker.
Wow, is that really what they said?
Yeah.
Motherfucker?
Yeah, it was almost like boot camp. Like, she was a drill sergeant, and I was like she was dressing me down, man.
Was she like a nice person? Or was she always kind of mean?
Well,
was she always mean?
She was very passive aggressive, I'd say. Yeah.
Fucking asshole. Fucking hate you, Blue.
Yeah, but I felt very uncomfortable in her office, especially when she closed the door.
So at the end of the day, college, I think, is...
At the end of the day, what I'm trying to do is portray myself as a victim. Whatever.
Here's the thing: work hard, and it pays off. With a college degree, I think it helps a little bit more.
Well, just like I work with a lot of Bosnian people who came over here with nothing.
You bring that up a lot.
Well, because it's really relevant to what we're talking about.
Oh, maybe not like came from nothing, but I'm saying you always bring up how you always work with a lot of Bosnian people. It's always interesting.
Well, because I literally work. I'd say. Well, anyway, I don't want to talk about my work either.
Oh.
But I mean, they are workers, man, and they get it the way that you get it.
Hard work.
Hard work.
They came over from another country as literally technically refugees, most of them.
Just start doing shit and you'll get somewhere.
Well, they're
start
like,
working.
I need to make it here.
Yeah.
I have to make it in a different country, and if I don't, then I'm a failure. Then I can't. I don't want to go. Well, maybe now they can go back. Obviously, it's a totally different era and world, but
it's not good right now.
Really?
Yeah, there might be another civil war on the horizon.
They
talk about it all the time.
Someone
I don't know what the names of the countries anymore. They've changed so many fucking times.
Yes. And I don't ever really talk about work ever on the show, but my boss is awesome. That's it. That's all I got. We're done with work.
God, this guy wants another promotion.
No.
That's what it sounds like.
No, it's not. He really is a good guy.
You need to teach a course.
How to suck up. Part 1.
Wouldn't that be a great course? It'd be better than finding my vocation.
How to suck up?
Yeah. I mean, stuff like that needs to be taught to people so they can, be successful. Instead of going in, like a deer in the headlights, like, well, what the fuck is going on here? People don't act the way they did at the university. They don't give a shit about my feelings.
In the college, it's a liberal. It's that's why most colleges, I mean, for the most part, are always kind of just about everything, about all the viewpoints are more left-sided. You know what I mean?
And believe me, that's a good thing.
It is, because it's more open-mindedness. It's just more open-minded.
But it really doesn't prepare you for how terrible people are
in the real world.
It doesn't.
You think life's gonna be great? I know something. I'm into something. Something tells me.
People lie to each other. People backstab. They do things that they're not supposed to do in order to get ahead. And that's the way the job market is sometimes.
Dog eat dogs.
You bet your ass.
All right. So we burned that one pretty good. We got quite a bit of a show. Guys, we're live right now. It is 9:48. Sorry. Probably it's lagging. So it is 9:50 p.m. Saturday night, Going Dutch Radio Network. We're live, guys, right now. Please, if you're watching, comment. Call in 636-926-6945. I don't think we have anyone even watching, really. It's Saturday night, and we went, kind of randomly.
Fuck it.
Don't worry, I'm going to boost the shit out of this here in a second. So if our Facebook accounts are fucking compromised, maybe that's what it is. You never know.
Ooh, yeah.
I know.
Well, that's another issue.
I don't even know enough to even do it. All right, so here's some other topics can zombies be real? Really?
Yeah.
You really want to talk about that?
Well, I mean, do you think they could be real?
Was Saddam Hussein really executed? Really? Oh, how about this? We'll talk about this and we'll take a small break.
Okay.
What happens after death? What happens after you die?
Wow.
Blue, what do you think happens after you die? We're getting deep here in St. Louis. Live. Going to Radio Network Saturday night. Comment.
Well, as a kid who was raised in a semi-religious household, not too religious, but my mom was religious, and as a guy who went to a university, a liberal arts university, I know that they're not particularly religious, but they are kind of spiritual. I do think that when you die, there is an afterlife. I really do.
So you think when you die that there is an afterlife, meaning like you have a soul that comes out of you when it like the moments of death, and then you are flying high with like your ancestor or your old family, and
I don't know,
grandpa, or hey, whatever.
I like to think that when we're in our human form, we're like right now I'm separated from you, right? Because we both have bodies. But when
you are rubbing my leg right now with your foot.
This sounds kind of gay. But I'm just using the example of me and him because we're both sitting next to each other. But I think whenever we die, we all join back together and with God. And I think what is we have to go through this trial where we are separated from each other. When we're all together, we experience harmony and happiness. We don't, experience pain or anything like that. When we're in the bodies, we do. We feel loneliness. We feel all these terrible, negative things that we have to deal with. But in the afterlife, it's all gone because you have left the flesh, the realm of the flesh.
God.
Wouldn't that make sense, though?
I mean, it sounds great.
Yeah.
But all fictional stories sound really good. Normally, if it's successful,
a
enough
lot of
like the
fiction
Bible.
comes true.
I mean, I don't believe. Here's the thing. Right now, guys, we're talking about what happens after you die. Blue thinks that you do go to literally heaven and join everybody
And Jesus.
sing Kumbaya.
Jesus understood things, more than anybody else. His words still are inspiring.
Well, guys, if you're watching live, here's my thoughts. What happens after you die? And please comment with your
This
thoughts.
is going to be quick.
When you die,
Blackness.
when you die, I think that is it. I don't think my conscious.
Whoa. Wait a second. You were talking on Thursday about the whole simulation theory. So if we're avatars right now, wouldn't you wake up in the video game thing?
No. I don't think. Chances are I am not playing my own game. Otherwise, I would be a tycoon right now. Like I would be a multi-billionaire. So I do kind of believe in the simulation theory. I just think it's somebody else it's somebody else's simulation.
So somebody wants to be you right now?
No, not me. I'm just one of the little Sims in the game, just like you are.
Okay.
You don't know. I'm not trying to be.
So you don't believe that there is so given your theory of the simulation thing,
I do believe in simulation theory. Absolutely.
You don't think that you right now are some guy sitting in a chair with like some attached to his head,
and I imagine he's wearing a wife beater with a greasy like pizza on him.
Yeah, getting a blowjob from
his dog.
Yeah, something like that.
Bestiality is not okay, by the way.
So
in St. Louis, at least in Arkansas, it's okay.
So that has nothing to do with your belief. You think it's very contradictory because
what?
Well, because if you're in a simulation, then there's something tangible that it comes from. There is a tangible like person who is in the simulation who is you.
Are you trying to say, since I believe in the simulation theory, that there is somebody who is running the simulation either as a game or as somebody, but that person who's running that computer for the simulation, is that God? Is that what you're trying to say? Like maybe that is God?
No, it's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to figure out what your belief is.
Whenever I die, or like what do I believe in? Like just why are we here? Is that where
Why don't we start with the original question? You die, what happens?
I think whenever I die, that's it. Game over / done. Like I don't think there's an afterlife. I don't think I'm going to be able to feel anything. It's just like taking, a hard sleeping pill. Or have you? I've luckily never had this happen to me, so I'm very, very, very happy. Have you ever had to go under for any surgeries ever?
Yes.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay. Whenever you go under, I always heard that whenever you wake up, it's almost like you don't, like whenever you were sleeping, whenever you were knocked out with anesthesia, you could not remember anything, if I'm not mistaken. It is like whenever you wake up, you think it's 2 seconds after they just put you under, right?
Right.
I feel like that in between time during anesthesia, like during a surgery, you literally feel nothing, zero, nada. There's nothing. You are gone. It's just like going to sleep without any dreams, and that's it. That's what I think it is.
Well, you're just not conscious of it, though. That doesn't mean there's nothing going on. You know what I mean?
Then to me, that's not being alive. If I can't feel it, if I know that, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I
see
would
what you're saying.
I would hate that if someone else gets to live on and I don't get to know it in an afterlife. Well, that's not fair. Like that, then that's not an afterlife for me. That's an afterlife for somebody else.
But consciousness is life because
that is your soul. I think consciousness.
But there is always something going on behind the consciousness that
like what? What do you mean?
Well, your subconscious for one. I'm sure your subconscious is still working, especially when you're put under for surgery, your subconscious is still active. It's just that there's different levels of consciousness.
Right. No matter what, your brain is still functioning. You're no matter what thinking, but the drugs that they put you under, you just don't feel anything. You don't think anything. You just don't remember it. I feel like is what it is.
But that doesn't mean. Well, I mean, think of your entire life. I mean, how much of your life do you remember? Not a whole lot.
Everything.
I mean, do you really?
I remember. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I remember a lot.
There's a lot of shit that I forgot.
I mean, there is.
It doesn't mean that it didn't. It was meaningless.
Right.
I can't remember it.
But I think whenever you die, your body stops. Your heartbeat stops. Okay.
Okay.
Your heartbeat stops, and once your heartbeat stops, that means everything is going to shut down. Your nervous system, everything, your brain literally does turn off. I mean, they've hooked up, like when people are about to die, like they've done this to people that elected that, like, hey, this is okay if you do a giant study on me while I'm dying, which I think is crazy, but hey, thank you, because it's made us, learn a lot about science. They'll hook up these, sensors and everything and try to, they can see like little mini, sparks or whatever, and that's how they can tell that there's brain activity. And there's brain activity for, I think, up to 20 or 30 minutes after you die. There's still kind of sparks and, messages being sent through your brain. But eventually it just turns off. It's gone.
That's the noise it makes. But
that's why I believe in the simulation theory is, I believe that we're totally in a simulation. But with that being said, I think whenever you die, you die. I wish there was, I get to go on into my next life and maybe become an animal, or when I die, I get to see my, family who has already deceased. I wish. That'd be great. Believe me, it's not that I don't want that to happen. I just don't think that's true.
Yeah. But Jesus, so
and it doesn't make me a bad person that I don't believe that there's an afterlife.
No,
I feel like that
no.
is only kind of the bad juju about being an atheist, or which I don't think I'm an atheist, but for atheists, like they're kind of looked down upon, like, oh my God, you're almost like the devil because you believe in nothing.
Well,
there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I think nowadays, like, atheists are more proactive, and they call out people who believe in God as being, like, stupid.
Because
that's why I think people get pissed off now.
And I think the reason for that is religious people used to be the majority, and I feel like now it's starting to topsy-turvy. I feel like now the agnostics / atheists are starting to be, it's starting to go the other way, maybe 75-25, or maybe 60% atheist / agnostic, and maybe only 40% religious. And I think that's what it is. A lot of European countries there's like no religion at all. Like,
why do you think people believe in God, though? Why do you think that we started believing in God to begin with? Well,
first, let me start out with this. I believe in Going Dutch Radio Network. Watch us live, just like right now, guys. We're live. It is almost. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. It's almost 10 p.m. live Saturday nights. Please comment with your thoughts. What do you believe? What happens after you die? And what do you believe in? We want to know. Comment. Call in 636-926-6945. Once again, what was that question, if you remember?
Like, why do you think human beings believed in God to begin with? Why, what caused them to say, you know what, when that person is no longer moving and they start smelling, they're up in the clouds somewhere with our Father, the person who created us.
Why did they make the story? Where did the story come from? Because you believe that
any of the above.
Okay, let's start with this. Do you believe in the Adam and Eve story? Which a lot of people do believe in. Adam and Eve, they were the first two humans ever in the existence of the earth. The two first human beings ever.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that story?
Well, there had to have been two human beings to start with originally.
Right.
Yes.
With that being said, do you believe in the story of how there was a tree? I don't really know hardly the story at all.
It's very metaphorical, though.
It is.
Yeah.
I know. This is where I'm getting to. There's the tree of sin, knowledge, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And she picked the apple.
And the apple was a sin, and God said, "Do whatever you do. You can do whatever you want. Roam free. I guess you could touch the tree, but don't eat that apple, because that is a sin. I'm telling you, I'm going to condemn you. You're gonna create sin on earth, Eve. If you take, this is God telling Eve, if you take this apple and take a bite because you're hungry, or because you just want to know, you kind of, what's that sin? Whenever you want something, lust, you lust for this to try this apple because you want to know how it tastes, right? She did that, and she created all of sin on earth. She is, of course, it's a woman.
Yeah.
Because, people were super, not racist, sexist back then. But with that being said, I don't believe in that story. I do think it's all metaphors.
Well, Adam was a cuck.
Of course.
Because
He's a
a lot of interpretation is that Eve had sex with the devil / the serpent, and that's what. And
no, I like
that's the thing about the Old Testament is that it's very metaphorical, whereas the New Testament is very straightforward. It's very historical because Jesus, as far as we know, existed.
I believe that the Bible
they're very different Bibles.
I believe all these stories were
Testaments,
just metaphors and a fictional story to tell right from wrong, to tell good from bad. Which I feel like the Bible for the most part has probably been a more beneficial thing than bad. That's what I personally think. And I am not a religious person at all.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm agnostic or almost fucking atheist at this point, right? But I believe that the Bible's good because back then, thousands of years ago, thousands upon thousands, maybe even only 1,000 years ago, when life was fucking terrible.
People were nuts.
People were dying of diseases. The average age was maybe 30 or 40 if you're absolutely lucky. I mean, really 30 years old back then, right? Or maybe even 20. With that being said, life was so terrible. You didn't have much over 1,000, 2,000 years ago except for like a makeshift hut, and there was no technology. You had animals all around you, huge animals, I might add you, that could kill you at any moment. Think about that. So what did they do? They looked up to a story. This fictional thing up in the sky that is going to take care of me during my horrible, shitty life of just trying to survive, okay? Yeah. And I feel like now that we're in the day of we're not in survival mode. We can be cucks. We don't have to survive anymore. We don't have to, do whatever we can to not die, and we can kind of do whatever we want, and there's not much repercussions for it. You don't have to worry about getting eaten by a fucking lion or a fucking bear.
We can go to the store and get food. It's not
easy
a big deal.
Like that. You don't have to fucking hunt and starve. For the most part, which is crazy. There's still starvation in the world. It's unfortunate. That's a whole nother fucking story. But with that being said, I feel like that's why religion is slowly dissipating and is dying. Is because we don't need that story anymore. We don't need that story to make us feel good. We have so much control of, maybe not necessarily our life, but we have so much control of our actions and of our environment that we don't need that fictional story to make us feel good whenever we feel like we're going to get eaten by fucking animals at some point. Hold on real quick. Why do you think so many third world countries, developing countries, or normally the majority is religious? The more technology, the smarter and the higher average IQ causes religion to go down. It's scientific fact. Did their stats on it? It's crazy. Why?
I think human beings need stories, though. That's why people go to the movies. That's why they watch. That's why they binge on TV shows on Netflix. But they need escape.
We did.
No, we still do.
We don't need this fake story. We can get that out of the way.
No, but we do need fake stories. We do need this idea that we're achieving or headed towards perfection. We need this belief that we're getting better, that things will get better, that eventually we will achieve some utopia. That's why people have their politics. That's why people have their religion. That's why people, even over in Europe, I think that a lot of them have socialist democracies, and they essentially, people who are atheists over there and here, they believe that humanity can be perfected. And whenever they think of that in their minds, they see something that one would say is fictitious. I don't think we can ever achieve this perfect balance where, that kumbaya moment where, every child is fed, where everybody is even.
Yeah.
I
get
like
you.
Essentially communism is like a religion. And that's what a lot of countries which are, anti-religion or they're agnostic or atheist,
right?
They kind of move towards communism because communism is like, look, we don't need God. We can do this. We can achieve this heaven on earth, I
don't believe that at all.
Quote unquote.
I honestly believe that religion.
That's what they go towards, is that using technology. Well, I would also say that technology and science is also, in essence, can be a fictitious story. Now, a lot of the discoveries they make aren't fictitious, but the belief that it can lead us to, we can solve death. Like we won't die anymore. We'll live forever.
Right.
We'll go on and on.
Guys, right
you
now,
know,
we're talking about afterlife, what happens after you die.
it's very abstract, kind of like religion is.
But here's the thing. So you believe, Blue, that, as far as religion goes, that the more agnostic/atheist countries tend to believe...
You got to believe in something, is what I'm saying.
They tend to believe... They tend to be more, communist or try to be more Aryan-like, more utopian. Well, let's make everything perfect. I don't believe that at all.
Yeah.
I feel like religion is the reason what causes almost all wars. It does. Don't deny that. I feel like almost all wars have been started because of religion, like for the most part. And let's not talk about in the past 100 years.
Well, the Soviet
Any
Union
time before then.
The Soviet Union was atheist, and they warred with a lot of people. And it had nothing to do with God. It's just whenever... See, the thing is, we tend to blame religion for things, which I understand.
No. But here's the thing. I feel like...
The people who...
Just like North Korea.
Yeah.
Because North Korea is 100% atheist. There is no God. But you know who actually is God? People will say, yes, he is our God.
Kim Jong-un.
Exactly.
That's what I'm... Well, that's kind of the point I'm making, is that you have to believe in something.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, you don't. What do you mean? No, you don't. There's plenty of, socialist slash, at least normal countries that, Europe is the perfect example. Europe gets along mostly with everybody. Okay,
Yeah.
like think of like Switzerland they kind of keep to themselves, but you know what? Almost none of them believe in religion. They're all agnostic or atheists. They really are. It's not a joke.
The last 5 years, there's been a lot of right-wing movements, though, in those countries, and they're popular. So, and they're all, in a lot of those right-wing movements, they're Christian or Muslim, too. So it's not like, Europe, if anything, were more atheistic than they are the last 5 years.
I mean, it's possible, but I think, religion ends up causing more drama these days than being agnostic or atheist.
I mean,
because
religion
think about it.
can turn out a lot of monsters.
Just think about it. Let's say you were non-religious, okay? Let's say, I'm sorry. Let's just say I am very religious, which I'm not, but I am very religious. My name's CJ, and I'm religious right now, okay? I believe in God. I believe in most of the stories of, the Old Testament, the New Testament, right? I just believe, I believe in most of that gist. When I die, I go to the afterlife, whatever, all that fun stuff. What you talk about in church and get yelled at for, and, God-fearing, which is such a disgusting word. I'm a God-fearing man. That's one of the nastiest things ever. You might as well say I'm a child molester, because that's what I feel like it's almost on par. The fact that, like, I'm God-fearing man, so that makes me a good person.
No,
whoa.
Well,
it's not.
But those are people who are using religion for them. It's maybe a handful of people. They want to be authoritarian. They want to control people, and they manipulate them with religion. So religion itself is kind of like, a gun. And you can't necessarily blame the gun. You blame the person who's using it to cause harm.
Right. And
that's what has been the history of religion, is manipulating people by using it. It's the people who cause it to become this terrible thing.
But, I mean, why? I know you don't believe, like, the space agency, or you don't believe that science is mainly a good thing, right?
No, I do believe science is a good thing.
So, with that being said, what if I really believed in the God thing 100%, and Adam and Eve story, all these just biblical stories? There's no point of even trying to figure anything out. Just fuck it. What's the point?
Well,
there's no point. Luckily, I could have the worst life ever. Might as well just be a bum for fucking 80 years and die, and then I get to go to heaven, which is going to be everlasting.
That's a relatively new phenomenon, though,
No,
because
it's not.
in the history of religion, the very first intellectuals, as you would call them, who were men of science, were priests and monks and so forth. They were the literate ones who believed in science, and there's centuries of that. It's probably,
I totally agree. I
don't know when that
right.
began, but this suggestion that religion is compatible with ignorance is not always the case. People who are religious aren't always anti-science. But I know where you're coming from, though.
I feel like probably most of those priests, even though they were probably condemned from the church, most of them were condemned from the church for at least practicing science. Yes. Not even necessarily just saying back then, like, oh, by the way, I don't believe in God now because I believe in science.
There used to be a big tolerance within the religious structure, like in Catholicism, and,
right?
And I still think there is. I don't think that they're completely anti-science.
No, I mean, I hope not, but at the same time, I feel like the majority of people who are like do science for a living, something science-like. It could be biology, it could be anything, just really scientific. That is what they do for a living, is try to investigate and yearn for not necessarily more, but try to look at things in a finer detail. If I'm guessing, and I could be wrong, but I feel like most of them are probably leaning towards the non-religious versus being religious, and I feel like, because you start to realize it's a whole bunch of bullshit. That was an old story made by people that did not have technology. So the story could only last so long. The story has to end, man. You know what I mean? The book has to end. People have to forget about that book. The book, just set the book down, stop putting it in my fucking hotel room, and leave it alone. You know what I mean? Sorry, guys.
Oh, but the reason that there's been this break where, there's people on the one side who are religious, and then on the other side, there's people who believe in science. To me, like I said before, I think that's a relatively new thing. And I think it's happening because of politics.
Right.
The usual politics. They push in one corner or the other. And the other one is that, which we brought up about people having to believe in something. I think atheists and, agnostics, they legitimately believe that science and technology is going to lead us to a perfect world. They want to create a perfect world.
I don't believe that. I don't think that at all. I think people just want to know more.
I'm not saying you do, but a lot of people do.
No, I don't think people like, I want a perfect life. I don't think that's it.
I
think most people who are scientists, who are scientific, they just like knowledge. They like, oh my God, here's a new thing I didn't know. I didn't know about it yesterday, but now I know it now. I know it today.
Technology is like these phones are everywhere. You do everything using technology. That has never happened
Technology
before.
is different than finding new things that is now, factual, or just finding new things. That's all the science is finding new things.
Well, technology is also breeding ignorance and hatred towards each other.
How many new things have we found with religion, when this whole world believed in religion hardcore, to the point where you could be put to death if you didn't back in the day? With that being said, we've never found out more. Even all of us, most of us back in the day, totally believed in religion, and we tried to know more. We tried reading the scriptures. We tried to believe that one creepy-looking guy wearing a weird robe that molests children that is preaching this, and who's Bible study, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, we don't know any more now than we did 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, whatever. If anything, I feel like it's getting less. We're starting to realize, like, wait, that's kind of bullshit. Wait, that's kind of bullshit. Like, there's I think we found moving bacteria, possibly on Mars. Oh, that totally dictates exactly what's in the Bible. We're supposed to be the only living possible things ever in existence. You possibly believe in aliens. We talked about it on the last podcast this past Thursday.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, if that's true, then you're not you're not a Christian.
No, I don't think that has anything to do with it.
See, that's my problem with people who are religious. They just get to pick and choose what they think is right or wrong.
Some people do.
I'm totally religious. I totally believe in most stories, but I don't believe in that one. I'm just not going to believe in that one because, it just doesn't agree with me. No, that's not the way life works. Either believe in it or you don't, okay?
Wait, so you think that if anybody believes, if anybody's Christian, they have to believe literally every single story in the Old Testament and the New Testament?
I mean...
Because there's different sects. SECTS. There's different denominations. They all kind of believe in their own thing. That's why they branch off, because they can't come to an agreement, a consensus.
But I thought most of the Bible came from God, the words from God, the words of God.
Well, they're saying, even that is something that could be argued in a court, because there's some people who believe that God wrote these gospels.
So okay.
There are people who believe that
right.
the gospels were written by men and they were angels told them, or
right.
It's
all bullshit. Someone wrote it down because someone said, "Oh yeah, God told me that." Well, what if back then God said, "Oh, you know what? God's talking me right now, and I believe, Blue, you should die. Get a gun, shoot you." And back then it might be almost like, okay, well, I talked to God. The priest said to shoot Blue because he told God, or God told him to do it.
We're talking about the Quran now.
I'm sure.
Sounds more like the Quran.
I'm sure, a lot of, Catholic Church, there we go. Guys, we're live right now, Saturday night. We're going to take a very small break in a few minutes. We're going to end this first, but we're going to take a very small break, and we're only going to be on for maybe another 45 minutes or so, and that's it. But just as this is a good podcast so far.
I think so, yeah.
We're live Saturday night. It is 10:16 p.m. live on Facebook, YouTube, and this will be on iTunes. That's right, guys. Apple device. Look us up, Going Dutch Radio Network. Please comment about everything that we're talking about right now. We want to know who's watching. And call in 636-926-6945. We're talking about religion and how I am agnostic and how he's kind of religious. We're just going back and forth. And I feel like it's pretty interesting so far. So I want to get back to it. So you believe, you were just talking about, the courts and that's,
you could pretty much argue any interpretation. I mean, there's so many different interpretations of the Bible.
I was saying, it's ironic that
open.
People think, okay, it is the Word of God, the Bible is, but you're saying, well, that's kind of contradictory because in a court that probably wouldn't hold up. Speaking of court, you're not really allowed to talk about religion in court. You're not supposed to.
We swear on a Bible, I think.
I know, which is kind of no.
Before you go into I don't know if they do that anymore.
I don't think it's a Bible.
I have no idea.
I thought it was the Book of Law.
Maybe it is the Book of Law, but
it's ironic that
I know they used to do a Bible, but maybe nowadays they don't do that for tolerance of other people's beliefs.
Right.
I have no idea.
I just think it's interesting that what was that thing in the Constitution where religion should not play a factor? What was that thing?
Separation of church and state.
There you go, Bob's your uncle. If back then we figured that out, why couldn't we add that in? Why not? I mean, why?
What do you mean?
Why does there have to be a separation between the church and the state? Why? I don't understand.
Well, I mean, there's been instances where there wasn't. Like, remember, what was her name? Salvo. It was this woman. She was basically a vegetable, and this is when George W. Bush was in office. So you were a kid.
Uh-oh.
Debbie, I think Salvo, and she.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I swear on yes, dude.
And
I swear on my
her own husband wanted to. He's like, look, it's been 3 years. She hasn't moved. She's staring at the wall. Let's just pull the plug. She's in misery, and the state intervened, and they said, you can't do that. You can't do that. And it wasn't
because God said.
It was.
What do you mean?
Believe me, it was based on. It was for a religious Christian reason that they prevented him from doing that because you can pull the plug on someone if need be. I mean, it happens all the time. If someone's a vegetable, let's say someone you love, God forbid, was in an accident and then they have
Isn't
absolutely...
it called euthanism? Or euthanasia? Sorry.
No, I don't think it's in that category, but if
you're terminally ill,
if someone's on life support, you can pull the plug. As far as I know, I'm sure there's a lot of paperwork involved. But you can, and the state in this case intervened, and it was I think it might have been John Ashcroft or someone who was in the Bush administration. He's from Missouri. He was one of our, I think, senators.
But I don't think that has anything to do with religion at all, either way. Whether you thought that she needed to go.
They were spinning it, perhaps. Maybe that wasn't his intention, but they were saying that the husband, doesn't have a right to pull the plug on her, that it's God's will for her to be that way. So he cannot make that decision. It's God's decision that she's a vegetable.
I thought it was personally based upon is she alive or dead, and you're not allowed to murder somebody because that is against the law.
Yeah, I mean there was no brain active. I mean, I guess there was a very small amount for her to continue with organ function.
So she was alive. Was she alive or dead?
Well, she was alive, but she was hooked up to life support. So you can pull the plug. The life support is keeping her going.
Right.
That's it.
I totally.
So she's technically dead without the life support.
That exact argument about whether you should pull the plug on someone like that is the exact argument for or against abortion. It's the same yin and yang. It has the same type of arguments. You know what I mean? When is conception? When are you technically alive and born, or when are you technically dead? Or what is your right to kill something that is inside of you? What is your right to kill something that is technically suffering beyond extent but is still alive? I think they're both yin and yang. They're almost the exact same thing, but just on two complete extreme opposite ends. You know what I mean?
Certainly.
It's kind of kind of deep right now, guys.
But that was definitely an instance where I think this idea of separation of church and state was non-existent. This was the state, like I said, intervening, telling the husband what he could or could not do.
Right.
When he actually had the choice to do it, and they're saying they are denying him that. On religious
I didn't know. I didn't know I had to.
Maybe
do
it was for votes.
Religion.
It probably had to do with votes because Bush.
Did it go to the Supreme Court?
No. I think ultimately they did pull the plug,
Did
maybe they did go to the Supreme Court.
Did
but
someone
I would be
had to vote
surprised
for that to happen? Did someone had to vote for him to decide? Or
That's
to
a
him?
really good question, and I kind of
Well,
wish
I'm sure
I knew
it
the
did.
answer.
I'm sure it did. It's not the state just giving
Something
him shit,
happened
like,
because she ended up dying. So if she was on life support, I guess she'd still be alive today. I don't know. Maybe she'd get like a bed sore or something, and the disease would spread.
Right, but I totally agree.
Or did she die naturally? Maybe they did keep her on there, and then she finally died. I think that might have been what happened.
Finally, like you're happy about it?
No,
God, she finally died.
It was. I mean,
it was off my back.
It was like, but I remember hearing about it and just being so appalled. Like, this is his decision. He's the husband.
Why? No. I actually argue with you that totally. I'm not saying I'm not saying being married to somebody doesn't mean you have a little more rights to that person that you're married to.
Yeah.
But at the same token, I mean, that's like saying, oh, she just broke her knee. She's completely stable. She's talking to me right now. But I think, hey guys, can you murder her and pull the plug? Can you like inject her with something?
So you're actually against the idea that this guy could have pulled the plug and spared his wife. You know what I believe? The misery of laying like a vegetable in a hospital bed.
I believe it should be left up with.
This guy has bills, by the way, to pay.
I feel like it's left up to the most scientific person that can think like, okay, is this person, scientifically speaking, can this person that is a vegetable, is it a possibility that she can come back? Is it absolutely possible, or is she in such misery? Should we put her down? Literally, I hate to say it that way, but it's kind of like a dog. There's a reason why we put dogs down. Is that okay? I mean, we're gonna go so
that's
far-fetched.
why I brought up before about science becoming the new religion. It almost sounds like you want the scientist to come in, like a priest, to determine if it's okay to pull the plug or not.
Right.
It sounds very much like that.
Are you trying to say that? No, not at all. Because a priest knows nothing.
No.
He believes in something that he cannot prove at all.
How does a scientist know about this woman who's a vegetable, though? I mean, there's hardly any brain activity.
How do we have brain surgeons that do brain surgeries?
So you're saying that
because of science,
you would want a scientist.
Come on, man.
You would want a scientist to go in there and speculate whether or not she might have some 0.00001% chance of stabilizing and coming out of her vegetable state. That he would control the husband's
decision, and I'm sure his decision, the husband of wanting to let her die, had to do with someone saying, a doctor, probably a team of doctors that said, by the way, she's not coming back. There is no fucking chance. Well, and that's why he made his decision. I feel like maybe they should dictate. But not the state, not the fucking state.
He gave her like 2 or 3 years like that, though. Eventually, you're like, it's not going to happen, pal. I mean, she's not coming back,
right?
I'm
not saying that.
If it was like 2 weeks or something, it's like, hey, give it some time.
How about those people that came out of comas 10, 15 years later?
Were you reading the National Enquirer?
It actually does happen. It does.
Well, she was not in a coma. If I remember right, she was in an accident or had a stroke or some shit.
What happened was, I think she had such a brain loss.
Yeah, oxygen. She had a loss of oxygen.
Yeah. And it made her brain literally
swelled and everything.
And pretty much most of her brain died. So there was scientifically, from what they thought, there was no way that she can come back and even come back from the state that she was at, which was a vegetable, so to speak. Literally nothing. Her organs could just survive because her heart did not stop beating. That was literally it.
Yeah.
Then I feel like it's up to science to say, you know what? Then if you want to end her life, this is okay because this is my reasoning for it. And I don't believe it should be up to a priest that knows nothing about that knows nothing about someone's brain and the brain function and their bodily functions. A priest is not going to be able to figure that out.
Leave it up to the husband. I mean, let him make the decision.
The husband doesn't know shit.
How do you know? I mean,
why does the husband know? How does the husband know is what I'm saying.
I'm sure he talked to several different doctors, and you're talking
about...
Well, which scientist? What, do you want a meteorologist there? I mean, what kind of scientist knows more than an actual medical doctor about her diagnosis?
I agree.
Well, I'm sure he talked to all the doctors. They're like, there's no hope.
All I'm trying to say is religion should have nothing to do with it. It should be left up to science to decide.
No, I think it should be left to the husband to decide because he's weighed the options, apparently. He cared very much about her to, suffer through this for 2 or 3 years.
I bet you the doctor said, I bet you there was plenty of doctors and scientific people that have looked into this lady who's a vegetable, and I bet you the husband was told by a team of doctors, like, this is what we think you should do.
Yeah.
Do you feel like they should be allowed to do that?
I don't think they would say something like that. Maybe they did. I don't know, but I would assume that a doctor, if they're a professional, will give him their professional opinion. Like she's not coming back, and then you decide what you want. That's the information we're giving you. Our group opinion. You do what you want to do. That to me is probably what happened. And then
I don't know.
yeah.
I have a feeling. I bet you, one of the doctors were like, "All right, man. Like, I'm not. I know you're really depressed about.
We
all
really
this,
need
but
that hospital bed right now. Okay, she's been in it for 2 years.
Susie's pregnant. She's standing
For
here.
the
She's about
love
to
of
drop
God.
a baby out of her fucking uterus. Guys, right now we are live, Going Dutch Radio Network. We talked about a lot of deep stuff. College, is it beneficial, or reading books, is that going to make you smarter, or does it actually ruin you?
I recommend you read books, but I feel like it does kind of fuck you up.
And then we talked about afterlife. I don't believe in anything. When you die, I believe that's it. You rot, and there's no afterthought. There's no after nothing.
You better hope you're right.
I hope I'm wrong. What do you mean?
Well, I mean,
why would I want to be right? I actually don't want to be right.
Well,
I would like to
no.
believe in something, but I don't like to believe in something fictitious. I believe in something that I can kind of scientifically gauge. Like, okay, this is what we know so far.
If the Bible turns out to be right, though, you're fucked
Why?
because you don't believe that Jesus is your savior and that God exists. You're fucked. You're gonna go straight to hell, pal.
You are too.
No, I'm not. I believe in God and Jesus.
Unless you're having
it's
sex without.
Unless it's the Muslim.
Are you
God
married
or something?
Are you married?
No.
Then why are you having sex?
You know what? Every night I pray and my sins are forgiven. So I don't know what to tell you.
It's such bullshit, guys. We are live right now, Saturday night.
You better hope it is.
I really do. We are going to go on a quick commercial break.
There's that picture.
Shut the fuck up. Actually, I got to change this. Yes, but we are going to go on a quick commercial break. We're only going to be on for another 30 minutes after our little break. God, we've talked about a lot. It's almost gotten like fucking awkward, right? Almost awkward. Hold on, I'm just trying to play this. Come on, fill the air for a second while I try to look this up.
I don't know. What are you looking up?
I'm looking up the music that I want to play. I want to play some new music. I'm so sick of the old. We just listened to the same thing over and over and over and over. Oh, great! Now I can't play it.
Just play the
even
old
better.
stuff.
All right, guys, this is Going Dutch Radio Network. We're going to go on a quick. Did I say quick? Yeah, that's right, guys. A quick commercial break. We're live right now. Facebook, YouTube, Going Dutch Radio Network. And we'll be right back from commercial break in about 10 minutes, starting right now.
I kind of like how nobody's listening. Like, that's awesome. Like, fuck them.
Ta-da.
Sunshine. Guys, I just want to say that I was on YouTube a lot recently. I get on there all the time, and I listen to Michael Bolton. I listen to a lot of different bands, but I was scrolling down, and I typed in Dutch. I just was looking for the movie Dutch, and basically what happened was I saw Dutch Radio Network, which you can find on YouTube.
Yeah.
I started watching it. I enjoyed what I saw, what I heard, and I said, hey, I have to follow these guys, and now I am on the show. I kid you not. Your dreams can come true, and you can be on Dutch Radio Network as a guest. You're not going to be a main star like us, but you can be a guest. That's one of the places you can go to watch Dutch Radio Network is on YouTube. I'm going to let this guy to the left of me tell you where else you can find Dutch Radio Network. Thank you.
I'll be honest, the first time I realized Going Dutch Radio Network was the best podcast, not only in St. Louis of motherfucking Missouri, but in the whole United States and the whole world. It just blew my mind. I mean, it just absolutely blew my mind. They have the best Facebook page ever. I mean, oh my God, I could just go on and on. You know, if you guys ever go on their website, goingdutchradionetwork.com, it is like the best fucking website ever. And I was once on the show, and oh my God, like, I almost passed out. Like, the camera's on me, and I was just feeling so good but nervous, and I was a little hard. But
it's okay. That's the way I felt the first time I was on the show.
Yeah.
Okay? But now I'm kind of a regular on the show, and I really enjoy it a lot.
You guys are a bunch of Nancy fucking Pantsy boys. Let me tell you something. I listen to Going Dutch Radio because I like their kind of talk. They talk straight and they talk forward, and that's why I listen to fucking Going Dutch goddamn radio.
All right, guys, so look up Going Dutch Radio Network. Like us on Facebook and subscribe.
YouTube and Twitch.com.
Whatever they just said.
All right, guys. This is Going Dutch Radio Network. That's right, guys. Going Dutch Radio Network. I am CJ, your host, and the crew with me today, to the right of me, if you're looking at the camera, it is Blue. How's it going, Blue?
Not bad. Feeling good.
All right.
Feeling pumped up for this.
Wow. Good. All right, and
fucking pumped. No, seriously, I'm really pumped.
Like, how pumped are you?
Like, I am just keep going. Just talk to the other guy. I can't even explain how pumped up I am.
Well, I have a name, Blue.
All right. On that note, the man to the left of me, his name is Candy. How's it going, Candy?
It's going pretty good.
So pumped.
I'm just as pumped as he is. Well, maybe not as pumped.
I am so fucking pumped.
But a little pumped.
God, I feel like there's a lot of pumping going on.
I actually have a few questions. I was actually wondering how the show came about, Dutch Radio. You never actually shared it with our viewers. Maybe you have, but I haven't heard anything about it.
Yes. So me, CJ, that's right. I am CJ, the host. I decided during conception that I wanted to start doing a online podcast where we could do it live at least, once a week and be able to kind of have archive podcasts to watch, because I thought it'd be fun to talk about politics, conspiracies, controversies, and so forth. And that's really how it came about, if you want me to be honest. It's that simple. And within about 3 weeks, I think, we got all of the equipment. We got everything. Microphones, mixers, computer software, everything, people. You have no idea how much this shit costs.
Including the table.
Oh, no, we're getting a new table.
We're getting a new table now?
We are getting a new table, just like we got a new projector.
We're moving up in the world here.
What kind of table are we going to get? I like this table.
We're going to get a rectangular table that looks just like this one, but it's smaller.
Can I put my gum under it? Because that's what I like to do with my gum.
I would advise against that. It has sentimental value to me.
Okay.
It is my table, but it's our table now for the show.
Can I put my penis on it occasionally?
Speaking of labels and penises, I don't know how that was a good segue. I want to talk about how we got our names on the show, our nicknames on the show. So, Blue, would you like to talk about how you got your nickname? And can you explain it?
It's a very interesting story. I showed up on my first day here, and I was wearing a lot of blue. And then one of the two guys who used to be on the show was like, hey, that guy's wearing a lot of blue, so they call me Blue.
That is actually a pretty good name.
I mean, it is, and you don't understand, folks. Blue,
It's better than my name.
To the right of me, always on the camera. I mean, my God, he has never not worn blue, ever. I don't know if it's a fashion statement or if he's just really into it. But
I'm not a Democrat, though.
Anyways, to the camera's left, as always, is Candy. And Candy, how did you get your name? How'd your name come about?
Do you even know?
I know my name. Okay, it wasn't my choice, but it was kind of interesting the first day at work here because this is kind of work.
Wow,
this is becoming a job, man.
I said, "What should my nickname be?" You guys were naming out names, and then someone said Candy. I don't know if it was you, CJ, or Blue, but
I think it was me.
Was it you?
I was thinking something sweet when I was looking at him. Like,
yeah, he's like Candy. So I said, you know what? That's fine. It doesn't really matter what my nickname is, but Candy has kind of stuck with me.
Right. I mean, I remember Blue first said Blowjob Betty. I'm like, let's go a little,
It has to be appropriate.
Exactly.
And we can sell candy while we're talking about me.
Right. Exactly.
You should sell candy.
All right, guys, don't forget to watch Going Dutch Radio Network. We'll be back in just a few minutes. We are on commercial break. This is Going Dutch Radio Network. Please like and subscribe to us on Facebook and look us up on our own website. That's right, guys. We have a www.goingdutchradionetwork.com. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Sneak a peek in my head, past the promise, past regret, to the place where I hide. You could come inside in your face and your ears, all my hopes and my fears. I'm a freak and a fake. You could take me or leave me. This is true, as true as it needs to be. I found something that works for me well. I'm surrounded by assassins I can't see without my glasses. I'm afraid they're whispering things about me that are mean. From found something that works for me well. You should laugh, you should cry, you could close your eyes and go to sleep and have a dream where you can't feel a thing. You should laugh, you should cry, you could close your eyes and go to sleep and have a dream where you can't feel a thing. You should laugh, you should cry, you could close your eyes and go to sleep and have a dream where you're gentle and sweet and welfare.
All right, guys, we are back from break. This is Going Dutch Radio Network podcast number 26. We are back from commercial break. How do you think the show's going so far, Blue?
Well, I just want to give a shout out to, was it Todd Brown?
Todd Brown
and Richard Green, who both commented. We didn't see your comments earlier.
And
so
believe me,
we were
I was
able to shout out.
And believe me, people, I was looking. I really was. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why I've been staring at my phone. I'm like, okay, I'm refreshing. Why aren't I seeing anybody commenting? I've been seeing views. What the hell's going on?
I don't know, but
It feels good.
yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for commenting. And if you want, by God, call in.
Call in, guys. 636-926-6945. I tell you what, I mean, I feel like the show's going pretty good so far. We are live Saturday night. It is 10:47.
Very fluid.
Fluid, I like it. And here's the thing. We normally have more than just you and I. Just more than CJ and Blue or Blue and CJ, right?
Yeah, we don't need those fucks.
Fucking candy. Close-minded candy. Candy. What a great name. Seriously, though. All right, guys.
He's candy.
So we do have a couple more topics to talk about, and I feel like before going on break, we got kind of deep. We talked about what happens after you die. Are you religious? What does it mean to be religious? What does it mean to be atheist, I feel like, or agnostic? I feel like we went pretty far, right?
Well, I mean, we didn't really solve anything, but it's definitely we definitely talked about it, so that's good. It's good to have a conversation.
It is. It's good to talk about, and that's why we have Going Dutch Radio podcast. People, please please.
Yeah, anybody who is either for believing in God or against believing in God, you should call in and we should talk about it
and comment. Let us know if you're too, hey, I don't want to throw myself out there that much.
Who cares? Just do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Just
okay,
do it.
Oh my God! So here are the last couple topics to talk about. Oh, this is ridiculous. Here we go. I can individually turn down your volume on your headphones.
Yeah, could you do that? Because
I have to go underneath the table. I don't really want to do that right now.
I have very sensitive ears, but I mean, I can hear you anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
But I have to do this for the show. Literally, I have to.
What? Have the headphones on?
Yeah, so I can tell how loud we are, how loud is the music, how loud is the videos that we're watching. I mean, you don't have to, I guess. You can be rogue and not have the headphones on, but we are in St. Louis.
It's not that bad.
We are a legit podcast. You got to have headphones on. It makes it more official.
Well, I feel like that if I don't hear myself talking, it'll be like I'm deaf, and then I could be talking louder than I need to talk. Yeah. Like I could be really fucking loud. And
I love you.
That's not funny.
It is kind of funny.
You're sick.
I know. Okay, can zombies be real?
You gonna pick that one?
Yes. It's gonna be a short one. That's why we can just murder this one real quick.
Okay.
Blue. Actually, I'm gonna start with me. I always start with you. Can zombies be real? I feel like it is definitely a possibility.
Yes.
Especially, you see the quality of drugs that are out there for public use.
That, yeah.
Whether it's fucking prescriptions, antibiotics, okay, or maybe it's like these people that are on meth. Not just meth. What is that one drug that is like making people run into cars and shit?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. There's a weird name for it. It's bath salts.
Well, and I know I've seen some people on heroin who definitely look like they're zombies. I mean,
right?
Especially since they're putting fentanyl in it or something, which
Jesus,
is makes it 100 times more potent. And I mean, they're just,
either overdosing,
scraping along like, I mean, it's very zombie-like. So sure, why not? But
I think the craziest one, it's like bath salts. I know there's another drug. Crazy drug out there it's a weird name to it, but you see these crazy fucking people literally trying to not necessarily kill themselves, but run it literally into a car that's going 40 miles per hour, and they just do the craziest shit. And I'm luckily
they try to eat people too. They bite and shit.
Right.
It's crazy.
That is truly zombie-like. Okay,
it is.
It's not just the classic zombie
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's not. Yeah, that's old school.
And that's not the zombie.
Real zombies are fast.
Right. Yeah. The real life zombie are the ones that are trying to take over the world, not the ones that are slow.
Yeah.
And decrepit.
Yeah, not the Walking Dead ones.
Right.
That show sucks.
But it's fucking scary. Luckily, it hasn't happened here in St. Louis yet. Now, if anyone knows of if anyone has ever witnessed some crazy person on drugs just doing the craziest shit, way more crazy than usual, let us know. Comment, call in. We want to know.
At least film it.
At least, yeah. Shoot us a video. But
well, no, I was going to bring up my point is scientists were studying different types of bacteria which cause basically the bacteria comes in your body and it takes over your everything. So so your movements, it's like someone has hijacked your brain. They haven't seen it in human beings, but they've seen it in I believe flies. I believe they were studying flies, and they found that there's certain bacterias which go to I don't know if they have brains. I'm not much of a specialist in this, but the bacteria will tell the fly where to go, what to do in order for the bacteria to be spread,
to be reproduced.
Correct.
Yes, dude.
Correct. A fungus would probably be the better word. Sorry, I said bacteria, but a fungus. And so, if you're talking about zombies, I know a lot of films and TV, they don't get too scientific about it, but if you think about it,
they're parasites.
Yeah, they're trying to spread it from one human being to another, So
Scary.
and they're seeing this in their studies of flies and other insects. So who knows? It might actually become a thing of the future with human beings.
So right now we're talking about are zombies? Is it possible that zombies might?
It's fucking possible.
That
it may very well be scientifically
the zombie
possible.
apocalypse or the zombie takeover could happen. Or is it possible to create a zombie? Right.
Maybe not yet, but well, and then there's brainwashing, of course. There could be.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a form of zombie.
Yeah, but
mind control, man.
I think the fungus thing really is what scared the shit out of me. The idea that maybe there is in the future something that is passed along from one person to another, which causes them
right.
to.
Oh, dude. Okay, so the scariest parasite / like bacteria. And this is a fact. This is I've looked this up many times, and Joe Rogan talks about it all the time because he cannot believe that this is true. So half of the world's human population is infected with toxoplasma. Half of the human population in the world is affected with toxoplasma. It's a parasite in the body and the brain. Remember that, it says.
Okay.
Toxoplasma gondii, that's its whole name for this parasite.
Infected with Gandhi.
Well, no, I wish. Is a common parasite found in the guts of cats, kitty cats. That's right. It sheds eggs that are picked up by rats and other animals that are eaten by cats. Toxoplasma, this parasite, forms cysts in the bodies of the intermediate rat hosts, including in the brain, right? So the toxoplasma gets somehow into, what does it do? It sheds eggs that are picked up by rats, okay? So these eggs that this bacteria is shedding somehow is picked up by rats. Well, guess what? Since cats don't want to eat the dead, decaying prey, toxoplasma takes the involuntarily sound course of being a good parasite, leaving the rats perfectly healthy. So only the good, this parasite purposely only picks up healthy rats. Right, if that makes any sense. It knows what eggs to lay for the rats to scent and say, I want to eat this. I'm
There's
a rat.
intelligence behind their method.
Yes, this parasite that is acting as an egg is trying to act as an egg on purpose for rats to eat it, saying like, please, and it only wants the healthy rats. Somehow it acts like a healthy food that a rat wants to eat. So the rat eats this toxoplasma parasite. Okay, this is a fact. Okay, this is 50% of the population has this disease or has this inside them now.
So one of us has this right now.
There's a 50-50 chance at least, if not 75% chance that one of us have it, right? So with that being said, and it's so interesting. It actually makes people smarter. Oh, so this parasite that is picked up by rats, guess what? What likes to eat rats? What loves to fuck with rats? Cats. Cats love it, man.
Even the big ones, those fucking big hairy rats.
Maybe
man.
not in New York. Those motherfuckers are scary.
Shit.
The little one I've seen in my house one time, I mean, you kind of want to play with it, but guess what? It might have toxoplasma. Anyways, the cats eat it. So Oxford scientists discovered that the minds of the infected rats have been subtly altered, right? Just a little bit. The mind of the rat has been altered because of picking up this parasite. In a series of experiments, they demonstrated that healthy rats will avoid areas that have been doused with cat urine. Okay. In fact, when scientists test anti-anxiety drugs on rats, they use a whiff of cat urine to induce neurochemical panic. So rats, by nature, are afraid of cats. They are literally, by nature, by instinct, afraid of cats. I think that's kind of cool. However, it turns out that toxoplasma, this crazy parasite that has gone into the rat, right, inside this rat has shown no reaction to being afraid of cats. Okay, does that make sense? So what does that mean? The cat will actually eat this rat, okay? So now the cat has toxoplasma. So anytime all the cat's feces or urine, if somehow you accidentally ingest it, not like you pick up the cat's shit in the litter box and eat it, but somehow you contract it, you accidentally somehow get a small molecule of this parasite inside your body, which is easily possible. It's just as easy, I guess, as technically... if your cat has toxoplasma, this parasite, it's almost as easy as accidentally getting, I would say even easier than getting pink eye or something. You just somehow contract it, almost kind of like a cold. Then now you have this parasite, people, forever. So half of the population, half the world's population has toxoplasma parasite. Well, I will tell you. All right, here we go. Oh my God, this is crazy. Toxoplasma infection is associated with damage of, oh God, this is some really fucked up cells. Names, astrocytes, cells which surround and support neurons, And schizophrenia is also associated with damage to it as well. So schizophrenia can be directly related to toxoplasma. That is in half the people's fucking brains right now in the world. Pregnant women with high levels of antibodies to toxoplasma are more likely to give birth to children who will develop schizophrenia.
Well, that explains a lot now. This might be what's making everybody go crazy.
Yes. So it is a fact that it alters your brain. Wow. Toxoplasma alters your brain, and 50% of the population have it. And they did a study where they were able to like take some of the DNA of entrepreneurs, and almost I think it's like 80% of entrepreneurs have toxoplasma because you're more risk taking. Like you will take more of a risk having toxoplasma. The parasite that's in your brain wants you to actually take more risks.
You would think someone more, schizophrenic would take less risk because you're paranoid. Everybody's against you. You don't want to leave the house. You know
Maybe
what I mean?
You're right. All I'm trying to say is right now, guys, from my, zombies, is it possible for zombies to actually come up and just, take over the world?
There's a whole lot of evidence that there might be some zombies rolling around here.
So all in all, guys, even though it just sounded like all this bullshit that I just read, it's scientific fact that half of the world's population has a parasite called toxoplasma, and it is partially controlling your mind. It actually is controlling your mind purposely to feed on you, to feed on your body.
Yeah.
And it's making you more risk-taking, half of you. Okay, people? If you think that's crazy, do you think St. Louis has a lot of toxoplasma, a lot of parasite-ridden people?
Apparently not. There's not a lot of investment in St. Louis.
No, there's not.
As we talked about on the last show.
So we need to eat cat's shit. Everybody, if you have a cat at home, please eat their shit so you get this parasite called toxoplasma.
Or at least lick their butthole, Because, they got to really contort themselves to get back there. It would just be a lot easier.
You know, cats always kind of rub on you really hard. Like any random cat.
They're trying to spread it.
They're trying to rub their dirty asshole feces on your body. You accidentally somehow ingested a little bit, just a little snippet, and there you go, toxoplasma, parasite people.
Isn't that a weird-ass way to look at humanity? Is that, like, everything we do and think is caused by, little bacteria?
It's
a little bit of bacteria that might be in our food or on the table or microphone or whatever you want to...
Yeah. I mean, there's feces everywhere. It's just like every
but it's
dollar.
Probably true.
Think about all the dollar bills, all of our money. They say all of it has traces of feces, no matter what, and all of it has traces of cocaine.
Yeah.
So they all been rolled up and snorted out of.
I don't know how that's possible. I mean, we're talking about trillions of dollars.
Did you know, scientifically speaking, now that we're on a little bit with science and stuff, and yes, we're talking about zombie apocalypse, and is it possible that zombies could exist eventually? Did you know that if you took a piss, okay? Not a piss. Let's say you dropped one drop of blood out of your fucking finger, Blue, right now, into the Mississippi River. You come back a year later, go to roughly kind of the same spot where you dropped that one drop of blood, and they say if you took a gallon of water out of the Mississippi River that you dropped your blood into a year ago, they would be able to, track. They would actually be able to tell and pinpoint that your DNA is still there in that gallon of water that they picked up.
How is that possible?
Tell me that's not fucking insane.
Who said that?
Your DNA from a year ago that you dropped a drop of blood in Mississippi River, a year later, you go back to Mississippi River, pick up a random gallon of water, they would be able to, and it would take months for them to do it, but they'll break down all that gallon of water and be able to find your DNA in it.
Well, then how come they have such a hard time figuring out crimes?
They don't. I think now it's starting to get a little bit easier. I think that's why there's so many, all these people that have been guilty who are actually innocent. That's why this shit's all starting to come out, man.
But I hear, well, not to bring up what we were talking about last time, but not necessarily Kavanaugh, because he apparently didn't actually rape anybody, I don't think, but if you're accused of raping somebody, let's say 30 years prior, right. Well then, given what you just said, wouldn't you be able to test some area, not to be crude, but their vaginal area? Couldn't you swab it or something and get the DNA of the person that she accused of?
Yes, it's called the rape kit.
Yeah, but I mean 30 years later. It's not like it just happened.
But 30 years ago, they didn't do that rape kit.
No, but...
I got you. I'm picking up where you're laying down.
You're saying that it literally went through the mighty Mississippi, and you can and you can detect that drop of blood, but you can't get it from a vagina that was penetrated.
They do. I think that is actually one thing that they're talking about doing. Like, okay, he raped me 30 years ago.
You think that'd be a lot easier than the Mississippi?
Well, one would think, but did you know that your entire body sheds everything? Your body right now, Blue.
Well, that's true.
Every month.
That's true.
I think it's every month and a half.
Yeah, but the fucking Mississippi is...
Your entire skin, your organs in your body, your lungs, your mouth, your tongue, your throat, your cock, your balls, the semen, everything is 100% new a month and a half later. None of those cells, all those cells have died in your body. Your entire body has died, and there's new cells that are
But I mean,
that
is
are brought back.
the water the same?
Yeah, it might leave and it might evaporate some of it, but there's enough DNA in
That's
your one
insane.
drop of blood.
That sounds impossible to me.
One would think.
Oh, whatever.
Scary. I mean, how scary is that though? Think about it, man. Think about it. Your body.
Well, it's not scary. You could solve crimes doing it, but apparently you can't.
Every cell in your body right now, in and out of your body, every skin cell, every organ of your body is going to die. Every cell is going to die within a month and a half, but there's going to be new cells to replace that. So essentially, you are a new Blue every
Cool.
month and a half.
I love that.
Come on, Blue. That's awesome.
I love reinvention. Since we're talking about, I guess it's kind of on topic, but
It's okay if it is or not. Whatever.
Well, you know how and I know you're not as much a movie buff as
Definitely
I
not,
am,
but it's okay.
But I mean, culturally speaking, we've gotten so derivative, with past films, past television. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the era from the 60s and the 70s is considered by most people to be like one of the most creative times in, human culture, definitely American culture. The 60s and the 70s, musically, cinematically, artistically. And since we were talking earlier about how, a little bit of bacteria can affect, can create entrepreneurs.
Right. Yeah, definitely, man.
I honestly believe that since people aren't tripping acid as much as they did in the 60s, that's causing us to kind of hit this huge wall of creativity. Yeah.
I mean, okay,
I really do.
I totally agree with you in some points, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of people out there who are watching us live right now would also agree that think about sports. Think about the Olympics, right? Okay, the Olympics is all timed, right? The race is always the same every 4 years. The Summer Olympics, everything's the same, and everybody's always getting a little bit faster, better, stronger.
Steroids,
possibly. But what's interesting, as we progress and get faster, better, stronger, the Olympics we're beating our world record times every 4 years. But we've been hitting a brick wall over the past 8 years. The past two Olympics, we have been either right at par of hitting our world records in the past, or maybe subpar, right below.
Baseball too.
So
baseball,
we're starting to hit a brick wall in sports. I mean, physically, emotionally. I mean, metaphysically, everything, man.
Yeah, and that's what's so weird is that we're always looking at the headlines like, big, this is a great movie or this guy is a great, CEO like Elon Musk or someone like that.
Right.
But maybe what fostered all this stuff to happen was something chemical, and you don't ever think about that. But
that's kind of creepy.
Maybe if more, like I said, if more people dropped acid, that we would actually have, breakthroughs again with music and film and television and ideas and books and, just our culture in general.
I know what you mean. Expand your mind. How are we going to keep on expanding your mind? Yeah.
It's very difficult to buy a hit of acid. I mean, where the fuck do you go to buy LSD?
I got a guy.
Don't think really.
Not LSD, but acid. Yeah, LSD doesn't exist anymore. I thought LSD is gone. Like there's no more.
I thought acid was LSD.
I thought it wasn't the same thing exactly.
Yeah.
Is it?
I think acid is like a slang term for LSD.
Oh, interesting.
I heard that the person there's one guy who had all the LSD.
Yes.
He was busted. He had 90% of all the LSD that was
ever made
being shipped out.
That's why I thought LSD is different than acid.
Yeah, and then it just like that was it. Like if you had LSD, you were lucky. You had connections.
You were the man. You were God.
Yeah.
You were the Wolf of Wall Street.
Well, yeah, they said, I think it was in the early to mid 60s, you could go on a beach and buy a hit of acid. You know, there was like a guy, you know, at a fucking, like at a desk, and you would just go up there and he would hand it to you and give him the money, and that was it. And I mean, people were tripping balls back then. And then you had like just the greatest music of all time. Like, I mean,
let's talk about Lakeshore Drive.
my God, yeah.
That song. I'm not kidding. That is actually a really good song.
Down at Lakeshore Drive.
But see, most people in the late 60s and 70s, they were high. They were on some drug while creating music. Okay? I mean,
yeah, we need to get back to the chemicals, the
David
right
Bowie,
chemicals.
David Bowie. Did you know what his entire diet? This was like in like his book or diary or whatever.
He was a coke addict.
So his entire diet for 3 years straight while creating his first hit album.
Yeah.
Guess what he ate nonstop for I think 2 or 3 years straight.
What?
He either did cocaine,
Yep.
and pickles and pickle juice. That's it. David Bowie for 3 years nonstop never ate anything else or drank anything else other than pickle juice, pickles, and cocaine.
He would die. I mean, he looked like he was dying.
He was. That's yes. He talks
he
about
weighed
it.
about 70 pounds.
He talks about. He's like. He even made a joke like he was getting a blowjob and someone he came and the girl was like, what the fuck have you been eating? He's like, that's pickle juice, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I
I'm
mean,
not kidding.
I mean, I
crazy.
kind of don't believe that. That sounds like he kind of made that up, but
I mean, he made it up.
I'm sure it's not that far from the truth, though, because he was, supposedly, knee deep in coke for
years,
most of the 70s, and then he became an alcoholic, kind of like Eric Clapton. He was into, the H, big time. Well, yeah. Well, it's funny. He wrote a song about cocaine, but he was a heroin addict, and then he became an alcoholic, and then he sobered up.
Damn, that's rough.
And he's still alive.
Guys, we're live right now. Going Dutch Radio Network. Live Saturday night, 11:08 p.m. Going Dutch Radio Network. What's that called whenever someone has to... station recognition. Like, all right, guys, it is... we are watching the Cardinals, but it is time for station recognition. This is Going Dutch Radio Network.
No, it's called a station.
Station something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But yes, we are live right now, people. Please comment and thank you guys for watching. I see that we have about 5 or 6 viewers are viewing as we speak, and we greatly appreciate it.
Nice.
We do. And we talked about a lot so far. So do you want to keep on going with the zombies and how they might exist and how we're about to be apocalypse or what?
Well...
have you seen any comments? Please let me know because I apparently can't see any comments that are updated.
Let me check.
Please.
Facebook page.
But guys, we talked about quite a bit so far. We really have. We talked about the zombie apocalypse possibly happening, and religion. Is it real? Is it bullshit? Okay, because I think
what your feelings are.
I think it's fucking bullshit. Religion is okay. I respect people's thoughts, but I think it's personally bullshit. Religion is. We talked about reading books. Is it making you smarter or?
Well, in your case,
dumb.
if it's the Bible, it's making you dumber.
Exactly. Yes, I totally agree. All right, so here's the last couple topics that we have to talk about, and then we're getting the fuck out of here.
Well, I am. You're not.
Oh, yeah, I live here. I live upstairs above the Going Dutch Radio Network studios in St. Louis, Missouri.
Dude, I can't even look at it now.
Oh, man. Jesus. Oh, wait, why do we like old-time criminals? Okay, let's start with this. Was Saddam Hussein really executed? Go.
God, I was afraid you're going to pick that one.
Why?
Well, Saddam Hussein,
It's hard to multitask. I have to do it constantly. It's not easy.
So Saddam Hussein apparently had a lot of bodyguards who looked exactly like him because he was afraid of being assassinated. So there's people who are questioning whether or not he was killed that day, and we saw the video. He walks, he walks up, and he doesn't look very happy. He's about to be hung.
Yeah, I mean, no one would be pretty.
People are throwing shit at him, or booing him, or whatever.
Boo.
And so the question is, was it really him? And if it wasn't, why the fuck would they throw out a look-alike? Why would they hang a look-alike and keep Saddam Hussein alive? Why would they do that?
Are you insinuating that Saddam Hussein might be still alive right now?
He could be. He could be. And I think our government likes dictators as supervisors.
You mean supervillains?
No, supervisors, because they have a certain type of knowledge of, a way of thinking that they can use to benefit them whenever, just like there was a lot of, former Nazis in Operation Paperclip.
Right.
They picked them up, they brought them over here, they had a lot of information, but not only information, but guidance, because there were certain things the Nazis did, and they did it very well. And so, I guess it was kind of a learning experience for them. So if we are ruthless enough to where we're going to have Nazis come over here and advise our government, why the hell won't we have Saddam Hussein? I mean, he went for several years untouched. He was the de facto dictator of that country. He went to war with Iran,
Right.
I think around 88. He did a lot of, impressive things during his reign. So why kill him? Why not put his lookalike out there, pretend that he's hung, and then, keep him in an advisory capacity, but keep him obviously out of the public spectacle.
So
You're gonna keep him hidden.
We all know, or I think both of us think that definitely without a doubt the U.S. government's partially corrupt. Okay, and that we love war, and we need a scapegoat. We need that person to be so horrible, like Saddam Hussein or Barack Obama. No, not Barack Obama. Osama bin Laden, right? We need that terrible figure in order to give us a good reason to go to war or to spend a whole bunch of money, and do good, right? You got to fight the bad guys, the true evil.
You have to.
But in order to tell the people, like, we're going to go to war, we're going to fight this supervillain like Saddam Hussein and Osama bin Laden, you have to kill him eventually in order for us to be like, oh, okay, we did it, okay. Next, okay, I'll send a couple years later, there's another supervillain, and then it's going to be this drawn-out scapegoat.
Yeah, they find him, and they're like, oh, fuck, we found him. Well, I guess we got to do something about it now.
Right, but not only that, you do have to kill your supervillain eventually to let people know, like, hey, we did it.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to like us.
There's a sense of closure.
Yes.
It boosts your poll numbers. They're typically found whenever they're up for re-election.
That's kind of ironic, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so. But I will say this. A lot of people who are dictators, such as Saddam Hussein, they have a certain type of... What are you doing? They have a certain type of intelligence, I guess, which... Anybody who is looking to, wage war on other countries, or someone who is in the intelligence field, that's extremely distracting. Anybody who's in the intelligence field, they would want to put Saddam Hussein in a room and just literally pick his brain. Now there was this interrogation of him for some time, and they were just trying to find out, I think, basic information about his country, and they're trying to determine how best to fight the so-called Muslim extremist in his country, and that made sense. But I really do think that a guy like Saddam Hussein would be indispensable in finding out certain things about him.
So I don't really understand that. So you think it's a good idea? I'm not saying why would Saddam Hussein actually be alive. I understand why you could fake his death. I can kind of understand that. I don't understand why the U.S. government would benefit from Saddam Hussein being alive and faking their death or faking his death. Why would the United States government benefit? I still don't understand what you're trying to say. I'm not trying to be funny.
Well, because a guy like him, he was a survivor for I don't know how many years, and he could. It's almost like a black belt. In a dojo, okay? He knows all the moves. He knows exactly what he's doing. You don't, because, you haven't been where he's been at. But
I get what you're saying.
But he can teach you how, especially in that region,
are you trying to say,
in particular.
Okay, so you're going like with the theory, kind of like Catch Me If You Can. Hey, this guy could fake anything. Let's make him work with the FBI and show us how he did it. Is that what you kind of mean?
Probably
that type of concept.
Probably the CIA. And he would have no choice in the matter. It's like, dude, either you play ball with us, or your body double is not going to be there hanging. It's going to be you. So he has to play ball.
Jeez, man.
And he has loads of experience dealing with that territory. And he could be advising their guys on the ground, not only in Iraq, but in all different countries in the Middle East. He would be, like I said, indispensable with the knowledge that he has. And it isn't like you could just sit down, pick his brain, and get everything out
do you think Saddam would have talked?
If it would prevent him from being killed, yeah. I mean, if it's gonna, he's not gonna have the best life. He's gonna be probably in a room.
Maybe we knew that.
He won't have any rights.
Maybe we knew. Maybe no matter how bad we tortured him, in what country is it that we torture people or used to? Cuba. Is it in Cuba?
Guantanamo Bay.
In Cuba, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe we knew, or maybe he didn't have enough info. Maybe we're like, you know what, maybe he was this figure that wasn't really anything. Maybe he was just the talking puppet,
Well, no, but he had nothing to really hide. He wasn't like a part of a cell. He was the cell. He was the number one guy. If you get like a terrorist from Al Qaeda and he's not the number one guy, and you're trying to have him roll over on his boys to let you know where the next attack's going to come, he's not going to do it. But Saddam,
your boys, that's fucking funny.
I mean, Saddam had nothing, to really lose. He was just going to tell us what, let's say something comes up in Iraq. It's like, what would you do? And then he would tell him what he would do, and you just kind of either do it or not do it.
Okay, so you do you actually think that Saddam Hussein is possibly still alive?
I'm trying to convince myself that he is right now.
I'm just curious, man. It's interesting to say the least.
Yeah, I don't know why they would get rid of these guys if they have total control. I know that they threw him back to his people in Iraq. And they had this trial. It was a kangaroo court type trial where
kangaroo what?
Well, he was going to be hung no matter what. He was done, and I just feel like if you're a smart, government. Especially a CIA.
Maybe legally we couldn't do it. Maybe by the code of ethics, not code of ethics, but what's that thing?
The Geneva Convention.
The Geneva Convention, or maybe it has to do with like a UN type of thing where the United Nations said, you know what, you aren't allowed to keep him captive and interrogate him. He legally can say what he can say.
Those people have no. We are the authority, dude. We might pretend to listen to these people. We might listen to them whenever. Whenever it's convenient for us, but at the end of the day, we can pretty much do whatever we want, at least for right now. Maybe up the road we won't. I don't know.
Or maybe his people demanded to fucking hang him. Maybe they wanted it that bad, like, we're going to keep this shit going unless you kill him.
Hence, they gave them the body double.
Is that a real fucking conspiracy? Like, legit, or you just
No,
make that
I
up?
just totally made it up.
Really?
Yeah, I did, but I wouldn't be surprised because... like I said, if you want to know how to do something, you learn from the best. And he was one of the best dictators of the 20th century.
That's interesting.
Obviously after Hitler. But really, the only reason that he went down is because, they just didn't have enough money. They weren't a big enough country. Hitler had a lot at his disposal. Saddam had very little.
I mean, how... It was still a dictatorship. He got all the money probably from everybody for everything, right? Yeah. I mean, his taxes were probably outrageous. I mean,
we were allies with him in the 80s, too.
Dude, think about this. Communism is actually, in its theory, is supposed to be a good thing. It's not supposed to start as a bad thing. Maybe there's one dictator that wants to start communism, but realistically speaking, communistic beliefs is not necessarily a bad thing. I'm not saying it should happen. Everybody is equal.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Well, it's kind of like I said, like religion is that if you try to get to the point where you're establishing on earth or in your country a religious theocratic government, it always ends up being terrible. What the fuck are you doing?
I'm trying to play with the camera angles, man.
I know, but it's like making our faces bleached out.
I know. I'm trying to make it better. Hold on. It might make it better or worse. I'm trying to find out. I'm trying to get a good camera angle, people. All right, just keep on talking. Shh.
But I don't know.
I love how you're getting ruined by this. It's great, man. It's great. Come on, talk.
I can't. You talk.
It's here, Blue. Ugh. Let me know you're still alive. God. Talk about invested for the show, right, people? Right? Even though you can't hear me.
If anyone wants to call in and ask him to quit moving the camera.
Discuss this. I know. I'm trying to play with camera angles, man.
What, during the actual show?
It's the only time
you
to really do
couldn't
it.
wait before we did the show? Or during break?
No, I couldn't. How about this? Look at this. Look how well people can see us right now. Okay?
Well, yeah, your head's like 10 times bigger than mine.
I know. Well, one of our heads had to be a lot bigger. Okay? That's just the way life works.
I can see your vein on your forehead.
I know. My vein's always popping out really
Jesus
big.
Christ.
I mean, how about the utopian life? Is utopian life possible? Is it possible to have a utopian world? Or is there always going to be ups and downs?
Well, that was the point I was making earlier, that's kind of like a religion now, that you can use government to, create. And I mean, it's nothing new. People have been believing that for a very long time, but it's, basically communism. The belief that through the government, through the people running the government, that they can, make everything completely fair and even to where everybody's happy.
You can't.
It's basically heaven on earth.
Well, yeah, and I think
The ideal.
It's definitely impossible. It's not possible for it to have a utopian life.
I think
nobody can.
Even if you carried it out, you still wouldn't be happy. You'd be like, fuck. There's no, just like you were talking about the other day, you like a challenge. You don't like to hit a ceiling.
Humans
you
in
want to
general.
keep going.
Humans in general, in most aspects of life.
You would be miserable in a perfect communist utopia.
Where everybody makes
you
the
would
same
be
money, and you're
absolutely
just like,
miserable. You'd probably end up trying to be a dictator or
And
something
I
to
think-
control everybody.
And I think that's why it never works,
Yeah.
But do you believe socialism turns into communism? I don't think so, man. I don't know. It just seems too. I don't know.
I mean,
Too
socialism,
much.
I think, in very measured doses is not a bad thing. But if you go too far with it, yeah, but it never becomes communist. It becomes, kind of like a dictatorship
That's interesting.
or an oligarchy.
You should stare at me while I'm staring at you at the screen. Then we could talk to each other that way.
Okay,
Are you staring at me?
I am.
That's pretty interesting. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like it. It's kind of creepy. But okay, all in all, it's another brick in the wall. We got one more topic to talk about, and then we're skedaddling out of here, okay? And we greatly appreciate you watching us. We're live right now. It is 11:24 p.m., okay? Live, Saturday. And we've talked about a lot. But we need to talk about one more good one. One more funny, lighthearted topic, because we've talked about a lot of dark stuff, We talked about what happens after you die. Is religion real? Is Saddam Hussein actually still alive? I mean,
Well, I mean, that was kind of lighthearted. I'm going to be honest.
I mean, are there superheroes out there?
What about, is network TV worth watching anymore? Do you watch
Oh, don't you get me started.
Do you watch NBC or CBS or anything?
Okay.
Do you watch any of those shows?
I have. Is network TV disappearing? How about cable? Just cable in general. How about that? Yeah.
Definitely network television.
Dude, I have DirecTV, and I think I use one channel. Fox Sports Midwest.
Yeah.
That is it. I spend over $120 a month, I think, total. That's what I end up fucking me somehow. I end up spending almost $120 a month on DirecTV. It's embarrassing.
I think you're actually below the average. I know a few
There's
people
no
spend about
fucking way.
$190 a month on that shit.
Are you sure that's not with their internet combined and shit?
It could be. I mean, I
Probably
don't
is.
talk to people about their bills, but but in your opinion, is network TV fucking obsolete? Like, has it just gone so shitty with the fuck? And
Is it that it's so shitty though?
clearly, you know what my opinion is, because I will look on there. They're like, oh, the newest show is Chicago Fire, or
And the shows are fucking terrible.
Chicago ER. It's always about doctors or firemen.
You know
or
what it
cops.
is? You know what
it's
it is?
fucking
Well,
terrible.
It's not just the show. It's the fact. It's the way that they not just produce the show, but the way that they release the show. People like on demand. That's why people love Netflix. People love Hulu. People love, click and
They
watch.
don't have to wait for it.
You can binge watch, and people obviously love binge watching. They love it. If you love a show, you're going to binge watch it. You're going to watch fucking 4 episodes in a row, and that's what Netflix does. That's why people like podcasts. It is. That's why podcasts are getting huge, man.
Me and my significant other, we're watching The Office. We were binging The
Love that
Office.
show. Oh, I have
Great
too.
show. Great show.
I binge watched the entire
But
fucking thing.
that was on NBC. It was, I mean, I think around the time that The Office was on, network television was still, very legitimate, still very much a player in, people's lives as far as producing really good, entertaining shows. But now, not so much. I don't feel like that they're, keeping up with what the wave is right now, which is, like you said, Netflix and Hulu and so on and so forth, shows that kind of have a niche. You can pretty much make any show you want and find an audience. But on network television,
it's on demand. Absolutely.
You got to be very general about it. You got to find a very general audience.
Because there's a channel that has so many shows, and that's it. You can't just release your own stuff like Netflix can. You have to have a network. For instance, how about politics? Perfect example. Anyone who wants to really state their voice on network TV, guess what? Chances are you can't. You have to have like literally 30 seconds of fame of hopefully being on fucking O'Reilly back in the day, or being in the round table of everyone just bitching, and they don't really state their ideas. They don't really talk about what they really feel because they can't. There's only 5 minutes of a fucking show, and the rest are all commercials.
Right.
And you have to get 6 other people around the fucking table bitching about whatever issue or politics that they're bitching about.
Yeah.
On a podcast or online.
It goes on and on, like our show.
It's in depth.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it drags on just like our show. Thank you, Blue. Appreciate it, buddy.
No, well, but I mean, that's my point, is that we can go on and on and on, and it doesn't matter. We can stay on here till 2 a.m, and it doesn't matter.
Guys, I'm just testing out the camera angles.
You can test out the camera angles. It doesn't matter.
Yes. I like testing this shit out, man. It's exciting. We're having fun here at Going Dutch Radio Network.
Is anybody watching right now?
People were. Probably until I start fucking with the mic so much, people won't want to watch anymore. To be honest. Keep on talking. If you're going to be on the show, you got to realize that you got to fill the air sometimes.
But not like this. Yes. You're like moving and shit.
I can't help it, man.
Well, this is more a back and forth discussion. Like, I feel like maybe your opinion of network television is a little bit different from mine. I'm kind of curious to see if I'm the only person who feels this way about.
I'm pretty sure everybody feels your way, dude.
You think?
Yeah, dude.
I think maybe there's like older people who would disagree, though, who think that network television is the shit.
Well, okay.
It has exactly what you want on it.
But the fact of the matter is that they aren't going to be around very much longer, and it's always about what's up and coming and on demand, man. But on-demand music, on-demand shows. I want to watch this show now. I want to watch this show. No, I have to wait till exactly 8 p.m. whenever it airs, and I get to watch that one show this week, and hopefully I am able to make it for next week at 8 p.m.
Do you think that maybe the fact that old people prefer network television to on-demand stuff has something to do with the way that they were raised, like with their media? Because whenever they were growing up, the media, you basically believed what the government said. If the government said this happened, it happened. If the newspaper said this happened, it happened. You didn't question it. Now we question everything.
Do you think that's a bad thing, or do you think it's a good thing? I mean,
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. At the end of the day, what we want to be is happy. If you're happy living in ignorance, then live in ignorance. Do you
think local channels are ever going to exist? Not local like St. Louis News, but I mean Channel 2, Channel 3, Channel 5, the true hardcore network. We're not just talking about cable.
That's what I'm talking about.
NBC, CBS, Fox. No, they're not going to be around in fucking 20 years. I really don't think so. And if they are, I don't know how the hell they're doing it, because most people don't watch anymore. And if they are, they're above 50 years old, chances are.
I think sports are helping them for sure.
Really?
Yeah. Just like, if you want to watch the Super Bowl in February, you're going to watch, I think NBC has the rights to it. So they're spending a lot of money to keep the sports on there.
Football.
The big events.
That's it.
Yeah.
Other than that, you might get a hockey game or a baseball game every once in a while.
Yeah.
Are you saying the NFL is keeping network TV alive? I mean, I don't know.
That is definitely one of the main things that they have that's going to keep people tuning in. And it's, and maybe after or before those big games, they have like a TV show that they really believe in.
Going Dutch Radio Network? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, maybe. I would do network television, certainly.
Are you being serious?
No, I don't know. Just give me money. Just give me a sack of money.
I know you're all about the money. We're all about the money. Guys, we're live right now I'm going to see. Can you list the comments that everyone has said so far?
Sure.
Please.
Oh, me?
Yeah. Apparently, I can't look it up.
I'm having issues myself.
I know. I feel like everyone's having issues with Facebook. Guys, if you're commenting, I can't read them, but I'm going to find out if I somehow can see it.
Is anybody commenting?
Is anybody out there? Oh, we have somebody watching still.
Wait, so you do have access to it?
Aaron said hello. Hello, Aaron. He's a guest. He's one of our favorite fans of the show by far. I mean, he might be number one, without a doubt. Thank you, Aaron, for watching. We greatly appreciate it. Let me know if you like the camera angle because I've been moving around like crazy. Yeah, a lot.
Hold on a sec. Oh. Wait, I can't. Here, you take a look.
What's that? Am I gonna like get a stash of your porn?
Yeah.
Make sure to get in the camera when you're like leaning like this just to get into it. Is there any one thing you want to talk about? We had to talk about one more topic, then we're done. We're out of here.
I thought we were on
Good
the
night.
last topic.
It was a shit topic.
What about the networks?
Yeah. Well, we got to talk about more. Going Dutch Radio Network live right now. It is 11:33 p.m. If you're watching, please comment, like us, fuck us. You don't have to fuck us.
Will somebody please call in and give us a topic to talk about?
Yeah, please, guys.
Please.
Will you beg?
Please.
Guys, we greatly appreciate you watching. Oh, Aaron just said, sup, CJ, sup, Blue. Sarah's watching. The angle's good, Aaron said. He said the angle is great. Thank you, guys. I know it is. That's why we picked it.
Now, we're
a group.
I would have done like, kind of the aerial shot.
What do you like most about being on this podcast? Just not this particular one, but just being on Going Dutch Radio Network in general. What do you like most? Be honest. Don't lie to me, Blue.
I don't know. That's really... I have no idea. What about you?
I love being able to speak our ideas and letting people know our thoughts. Now, I'm not saying that they have to believe in them or they have to... They can totally disagree. I'm totally up for that as well. But
we don't say anything controversial anymore is a problem. I mean, we're very like mellow. Like, yeah, I kind of accept this.
You hate gay people. You hate gay people.
No, I absolutely do not hate gay people. I just said it that one night to be controversial.
Oh, so now you're letting it all on the line.
But see, I'm like I'm the least controversial person, so it shouldn't even have been me to be the controversial person. Is what I'm trying to say.
No, okay.
So
why do you like wearing blue? What is it about blue? Think it looks good on you?
Can we get to a topic? We have one person watching us, and I think it's me. That's the best part.
It's gonna be so awkward if anyone like watches this recorded like in the next week. They're gonna be like, "What the fuck were they doing?"
That probably happens every time.
We're gonna be like, "We don't know, people. We don't know what the fuck we were doing." Oh, look, he shared a live video, so we're about to get more viewers. Thank you, Aaron. We greatly appreciate it. We do.
No, I think we really need to get back into the conspiracy stuff. But I mean, you got to be really, keep your ear to the railroad track.
Do you really think we went to the moon?
To really know. You know what? I actually was thinking of. I can't remember if we talked about that yet or not.
We did, but it was
It was
Candy
a very,
was here.
Very short kind of.
Yeah, and Candy, man, like sometimes it's so cut and dry with him. It's hard to even like argue or even talk about shit like that. You know what I mean?
You're right. Yeah. It's definitely up for discussion.
Do you think men at least reach the moon? Maybe went around the moon. Did we at least reach the moon? Have we gone that far in a fucking spaceship? Has a human have gone that far in a spaceship? 260,000 miles. What do you think, Blue?
Well, I mean, you see the spaceship take off, right? I mean, maybe that's just made up too.
The spaceship?
Well, the rocket taking off, and then those parts fall off whenever they're out of the atmosphere, and then it's just the little, the white shuttle.
Yeah.
I mean, is that real that we're seeing? Because if that's real, that has to go somewhere.
It has to fall back down in the atmosphere.
Yeah. So,
definitely.
So if that's real, then you have to think that they went outside the Earth's atmosphere, and we think we know that there was a man who did go out into outer space. What was his name? John. He was a senator.
I don't remember.
He was.
It's surprising I don't know this, but
he was a John McCain type. Like, he did fucking everything. He had a great, perfect American life.
Well,
he did.
He's a good American.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he had some balls to go out, to be the first guy to orbit around the Earth. I mean, fuck. But he did that. If we can believe that, we'll just say that happened.
Right.
So, but then, we have this whole us versus the Soviets thing. Who's going to go to the moon first? I don't, and, in retrospect, did that matter? No, not really.
I think it did. Because
did it really matter if if
a man could get to
space? What if the Soviets went there? I mean,
nuclear arms
the better
just
country.
Started. Nuclear arms just started, and this is before intercontinental
ICBDs.
Yes.
Ballistic.
I think it's at BBC. I'm like, whoa, big fact. I'm like, what are we talking about right now?
IBCM.
Yeah. With that being said, if we're in space, hey man, we are the forefront of technology. If we can do this, we can do anything.
Yeah, but that's like totally symbolic. Like, it's not going to really have an effect on the ground war. The war on Earth.
What are you talking about?
Well, it was just trying. It was propaganda to show that America was better than the Soviet Union because we went to the moon first, but it really had no actual tangible causation on our Cold War with the Soviet Union. You know what I'm saying?
Space war was like a real thing even back then. We were afraid that, okay, if the Soviet Union could do this, then they can do anything. They're obviously smarter, better, faster, stronger than the United States, and that's fucking scary.
Well,
you have to remember, even though we first sent to the moon in 1969, we announced that we were going to go to the moon or try to get to the moon. John F. Kennedy did in 1960, 1961?
Yeah.
This is right after, what was it? This is the precursor to almost World War III, the Cold War. This is prior to it. This is like the start of the Cold War, is trying to get to the moon. With that being said, if we did not go to the moon, if the United States did not go to the moon in 1969, wouldn't fucking Russia fucking totally like showboat us, or at least show us up and be like, hey, you motherfuckers, okay, you guys didn't go to fucking moon. Here's our evidence. Russia was watching like a hawk, right? I'm guessing you would think we're this close to fucking nuking each other at that point. You don't think Russia actually knew if we were going to the moon or not, and they didn't have the technology to know if we were heading the moon?
Well,
what do you think?
It's been said that Russia started the whole rumor that we didn't actually go to the moon, and that's why we're talking about this very day.
Right, and
so Russia's been disseminating false information in theory for a very long time.
Right.
Like, supposedly they started the theory that Hitler survived World War II. They lived in Argentina. Yada yada yada. I mean, a lot of these conspiracy theories had their roots in the Soviet Union / Russia.
Well, do you think anyone has gone? Do you think we can get to the moon right now, like today? Like, could we? Maybe not. If we had, do we have the technology to go to the moon today?
Well, they launched a car into space, so you would think that we could maybe get a shuttle out there, and
humans have to live inside there as well. Can we get to the moon and walk today? You would think we could. If we could, almost 50 years ago.
You know what?
Whoa, Jesus, what?
I think we did go to the moon. I really do. I think we landed on the moon, okay?
180, dude. 180, Dad. You really
hate it, but I really think that is true. I think we really were on the moon.
You really think we went to the moon?
We went to the moon.
Oh, my God.
What about you?
I believe that it is possible to go to the moon today, but I do not believe wholeheartedly that we humans, even though everybody who knows me, I like astrophysics, I love space stuff, and I totally believe in it 100%. But with that being said, I do not believe that we walked on the moon. How could we do it in 1969 when we can't do it today? And people are like, oh, well, we don't have a reason to. What are we doing? We're trying to go to Mars. Why wouldn't we at least go to the moon a few times just to kind of
build a station on there,
build our bearings of leaving Earth and living on a rock for a little bit? Why don't we? It's never been talked about, and it never will be talked about. And there's a reason why, my friend.
Well, there might be budgetary reasons why we don't like go to the moon, and set up like a small moon colony. I mean, maybe we have set up a moon colony and we're not even aware of it. Like it's a top secret thing.
Oh, you really believe in that shit?
Because the moon is obviously closer to Mars, right?
The moon is
than planet
the moon
Earth.
is 250,000 miles away, and it takes about a day and a half to get there. It takes over 6 to 7 months, up to 9 months, just to get to Mars.
Yeah,
and humans are going to have to like literally almost go to sleep. They said we're going to have to like put them under in order just to be able to handle being out there for 6 months, which sounds kind of weird. Then that's my thing. If we keep on talking about like how bad we want to go to Mars, but I don't think we're going to go to Mars within the next 50 years. I would almost bet my life on it. I really would. I don't think there's any fucking possible way that we are going to Mars in the next 50 years. I don't even think even by 2100. I really don't, man.
Well, we're probably not going to find out. Is the problem?
Well, I mean, maybe. Maybe.
I mean, if our planet is dying
right
by that time, due to overpopulation and all that stuff, then maybe Mars might be our next destination, or one of them. After the moon.
You actually firmly believe that us going to the moon actually happened in 1969 when all those millions of people were at home, black and white TV, the kids in the front of that boob tube, that big TV, and they're watching it. Do you think that was all real? I mean, here's what would give me pause in saying that we did go to the moon in 1969. Richard Nixon was in office, and he was a compulsive, pathological liar. And he would do anything to boost his numbers, to make America look better. I was actually watching a documentary on Vietnam today. Ken Burns' Vietnam. I guess I mentioned that before. I can't get enough of it. but I mean, he basically prolonged the Vietnam War in order to first get elected and then to get re-elected. So if anybody, out of all the presidents that we've had, and I'm including Trump in this, right?
If there's any president that we've had who would fake a moon landing in order to, make America look better and propagandize, the greatness of America, it would be Richard Nixon. So, and this was on his watch. So, I is the government capable of making a fake moon landing? You bet. You absolutely bet. Is there a reason for us to fake the moon landing? I guess there is. Probably a political reason. Sure.
Fuck yeah, dude. Without a doubt, man. Okay, guys, right now we are talking about do we actually land on the moon or not? Okay? And we are local right now, live in St. Louis. Live right now. It is Saturday night. It's 11:46 p.m. We're only going to be on for another 15, 20 minutes. And I'm going to tell you, we are about to have a whole ton of viewers.
Really?
Yes, within the next 10 minutes. So we got to keep it on. It's going to be crazy. Guys, right now we're talking about the moon. Did we actually go? I mean, I think we did not. There's no doubt. There's no doubt in my mind that we did not go.
Why don't we hear your opinion of it?
Okay. Here is the reason why, okay? And yes, I'm a little boy from St. Louis, CJ, your host from Going Dutch Radio Network, okay? But here's the thing. We did not go to the moon for one simple reason. We did not have the sufficient technology. There's just no possible way that we were able to have that. We couldn't even have colored TV, if I'm not mistaken, back in 1969. Was it colored then? I can't remember. Or was it all black and white because it was the moon?
I think color TV was... No, yeah, you had color TV by then. Yeah, you had Technicolor and everything.
Are you sure, or did it just
come
out?
Look, we had the atomic bomb in 1945.
But, see, atomic bomb, nuclear, when people think...
Science was what was on, not as much a fast track as now, but, I mean, we were... Things were really going fast back then.
I agree. We had thousands of people investing into trying to figure out the atomic bomb.
Yes.
But the atomic bomb isn't as complicating as people think. Now, obviously, there's so much that goes into it that we'll never understand. But it's just taking one element, let's just say like a rock, and then taking that rock and make millions of explosions out of it. All you do is you explode and split the atom. If they can just split what's inside that rock more than once, then it will automatically create a chain reaction. That's all they had to figure out.
Well, yeah, but you say that's all they had to figure out. I mean, that was a lot to figure out before anybody knew to figure that out.
Do you know how long it's taken?
A lot of experimentation.
I mean,
Geniuses. Einstein was involved in the atomic bomb, the Manhattan Project.
Oh man, come on.
But you're trying to back up your argument by saying, well, they just weren't sophisticated enough back then, but, they were sophisticated enough to come up with a lot of brilliant shit around that. I mean, the 20th century is just mind-boggling.
There is a fan right now who just commented. He said, "Happy birthday, CJ," and thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it. It is my birthday, I guess, for another 13 minutes. There's one thing that he wants to talk about. Have you guys ever had shitty birthdays? And what are your stories about our birthdays? It's a good thing to end on.
Wow, yeah, actually, I have had a shitty birthday.
Who has had a shitty birthday? And let us know your story. Call in or comment, please, live right now. 636-926-6945, local here in St. Louis, live Saturday night, 11:48 p.m. You have any shitty stories about birthdays? Let's hear it, Blue.
I really do. It was last year, in fact.
I'm excited.
Yeah, well, Sarah, she didn't tell me about this ahead of time, but she had planned, she invited a few people out to 54th Street, which is a restaurant here, and we were all going to meet up there. Well, pretty much all the people she invited did not show up. It was like me, her, my cousin, who had to show up anyway because he's family.
Right.
And my buddy Tom, who is, he's... I don't know if you met him or not, but he's, he is really out there, and so yeah.
Is this your birthday night?
No, this was like during the day, and it was on Veterans Day because I was born on November 11th.
Oh, here we go.
No. Well, no.
Let's hear your shitty birthday story, and you have to bring up Veterans Day.
Well, no.
Go on.
Well, the reason it was bad was because at 54th Street they had, if you're a veteran, you eat free day.
Are you trying to say you
it
ate
was
free?
Fucking packed. Like we had to. It was so bad.
Yeah.
And I felt like shit because like these people that she had invited didn't come out. So yeah, at the end of the day, I had people who cared about me. So I guess it really doesn't matter, as long as somebody cares about you.
Have you ever had a birthday go by where like you ever had a significant other on your birthday not give you a gift, like at all? Like they just didn't. It's not that they didn't think about it. Like they're just like, no, I just didn't get you a gift. Have you ever had a significant other, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, not give you a gift on your fucking birthday?
Not me, no.
It's happened to be 1 year. Like 1 year officially, a long time ago.
The ex?
Yes, the ex.
Ex-wife?
I can't believe I'm talking about this for now.
Oh, you brought it up.
Yeah.
Actually, he brought it up.
But it is true. I remember she didn't get me anything. She's like, oh, I mean, we were together and we were living together, and that bitch did not give me anything for my fucking birthday.
That's fucking insane.
I mean, we had sex and whatever, but
well,
I mean
that's
yeah, it's something, but it's not like that should be a regular thing that should be happening.
Did she let you put in her pooper?
I don't know about that. Is that her right now trying to come into the house? Guys, going to Trader Network. We're live right now in St. Louis. We're talking about birthday stories, good or bad. What is the craziest birthday story that you have? Good, like even if it's good, anything, man.
The craziest one.
I got one.
Okay, go ahead.
The night I was 21. I mean, like 12 o'clock. It hit midnight, which means I technically turned 21. I was really into gambling back in the day. I still love gambling. I still love like playing poker and stuff, like in poker rooms. A little bit less risky. But then that was like my life is gambling. Even I used to drive whenever I was 18, right? Right when I turned 18, I went to an Indian casino to Oklahoma just so I could gamble, right? I used to do it constantly all the time. So I was 21, just turned 21. It's 12 o'clock at night. I brought, I think it was almost $1,000 with me. And like, I mean, I wasn't like super excited. I was actually kind of nervous. Well, I ended up spending like 3/4 of all that money to the point where I had no money to spend on my actual 21st birthday, right? And then on top of that, you know the bathroom stalls at River City Casino. they're completely closed. Like you can't see underneath. Like if there's somebody's legs underneath, which is nice when you're trying to take a shit. But when you're so fucking wasted at like 2:30 in the morning from being bought like dozens of shots, that I am completely incapable of doing anything. I'm puking ferociously in the toilet, and I can't even see straight. I couldn't talk straight, dude. I was so fucked up that my significant other had to like go call somebody to go in the bathroom and try to look for me, but I wasn't responding. And they couldn't see me because the door is a complete fucking door at the casino in the River City's restroom.
God.
Dude, I was in there for like 2 hours. I was in the River City bathroom, incapacitated and puking, and I couldn't even talk straight because I was so fucked up. That's how my 21st birthday technically went. The night that I turned 21.
That's awful.
No, I look back on it and I think it's fucking hilarious, man. Like 21st birthdays are always pretty extreme. I mean, not everybody. Some people are, halfway decent human beings or kind of normal. But, I mean, there's always some crazy story.
Yeah, like, I don't even remember my 21st at all.
That means it must be not that memorable.
No,
if
really not.
If anyone has any memorable 21st birthdays, please let us know. I would definitely want to hear them because that would be pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, sure.
What's the most drunk you've ever gotten, Blue? What's the most fucked up? You're like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm alive after that one. Come on.
Last night. No, I'm joking.
Come on, we live in St. Louis. I mean, we're all a bunch of drunks.
Yeah, we're definitely up there. I would have to say, there was one night I was with Rich.
Rich?
This probably isn't the drunkest I ever got, but it was pretty bad. Remember when he used to have? This is like pretty much just you and me talking at this point.
It's okay, man.
When he had the big white SUV, remember?
Yes, dude. Yeah.
So anyway,
is this the Afton days?
Yeah,
when he was living in Afton. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, when he lived with Dave.
Yeah. God, we're getting real personal. Go on.
Yeah.
Who cares? Fuck it.
And anyway, Dave, I guess, was gone or whatever. But on the way home, there was a cop behind us, and we had both been drinking. I've been drinking more than Rich. And I'm puking out the side of the fucking car. Yeah. Window down. I'm like, bleh! And it's like, and I mean, you can ask him for corroboration, but the puke was like going back and like hitting. It was sticking to the back of his door. It was going everywhere.
He's like, what the fuck, man? Oh my god, you're puking in my fucking car.
I think I puked like on my jeans.
What the fuck were you drinking?
It could have just been beer. I mean, there had to have been shots.
Were you drinking all day long? I take it because Blue, dude.
I have no fucking clue.
My brother was just talking about today. Now, brother lives on Wentzville, but there was. I think we're in the Afton house where this is in St. Louis, people. Blue, you had like 35 beers that day. You had 35 beers. You literally drank more than a fucking 30-pack of beer.
Where at?
You were at the lake, I think.
Oh yeah.
I think it was. I think we're in the Ozarks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I wasn't even like. I don't think I was even 21 then. Dude, you drank so much, and you seemed more sober than you are right now. If you only had like fucking. You've had what, 5 beers, or for the most part.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you used to drink over 15 or 20 beers no matter what every night that you drank.
Yeah.
I'm not exaggerating.
I know.
How the fuck do you do it? How do people do that? If anyone's out there, I want to know.
It's in my constitution, I guess. It's like in my genes.
What's your rate? What's your nationale, man? Like what? Irish? Are you fucking Irish or something?
Yeah. I'm Irish and German.
Really?
Yeah.
You fucking Nazi.
What about you?
I'm mostly.
You're like the same, aren't you?
I'm mostly German and Scottish.
Like the same.
Maybe like you always
German and Scottish.
You always think the Irish people are big drinkers, but maybe it's the Scottish that aren't. Maybe they're the cucks.
Yeah. The Scottish are pussies.
You never know.
Them.
Yeah. My craziest drunken night would still have to be also that fucking casino night. Without a doubt. Like it was just it was so fucking miserable.
Well, and I'm just throwing out what I remember. Like I'm sure there's a lot of nights that I don't even fucking recall. So,
How about that night at my brother's house in the strip club? Strip club. My brother's house, there was a stripper in the house for that party.
I wasn't there.
You weren't there for that party?
I was working.
I was 13. I was 13 when my brother had that party.
I remember a lot of hangovers.
I was there, dude. Fucking it's still one of the most legendary parties. I've been to plenty of parties like when I was getting, older, high school, or early 20s. That will still go down in infamy as the biggest, best party I've ever been in, and I was 13 fucking years old.
Yeah.
Okay? Tony, if you're out there, Anton, That's his real name. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Tony Fleeg had a huge party for my brother, or my brother had a huge party for Tony. They were both living together in an Afton house at the time. They
loved each other.
They fucking hate each other. No, it was tough love. You know, that's what happens when you move in with somebody. You can be best friends and end up hating each other. It's just the way life works.
He is so fucking annoying.
I tell you what.
I don't do that.
Did you? I mean, I'm going to keep on going with the story, you know, but they hate each other. They were best friends, but they hate each other because they started living with each other in my brother's house, right? So they threw a big fucking party. I swear to God, there was over 300 people, and I'm not kidding. When I mean packed to the gills, every room of that fucking house was completely filled. The basement was mostly filled. The outside backyard was completely fucking filled, man.
So who did the inviting for this?
Who? Wait, what?
Well, how did he get 300 people
Tony's
there?
girlfriend, apparently, if I'm not mistaken, which is now Tony's wife. It's pretty interesting.
Oh, so it's a friend of a friend.
How's it
of a
going,
friend
Cece?
kind of deal.
If you're out there, I believe she blasted it on not Facebook, because I don't think Facebook was even big.
MySpace.
Just, I mean, they told everybody. She
Yeah.
told fucking everybody, hey, you got to come for. I think it must be Tony. Yeah, it must have been Tony's birthday. Oh my God, dude. I mean, 300 fucking people. At that point, you can't stop the party, even if you own the house.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? The
Yeah.
cops came. The fucking party continued.
Yeah.
There's so many people there. It just kept itself going, man. It was the craziest party ever. I remember so many things. I was 13 years old just watching a stripper.
You
in
know
my
what
brother's house.
pisses
Just,
what
it's
pissed me
fucking
off
crazy.
is that I missed that party, and then I missed the two Dave versus Rich fights.
Oh, those were
parties.
interesting. Dude, those
I mean,
were awesome.
I missed all the legendary parties because
All
I
the
had to
good fights.
fucking work late. It
All
just
I do
riles
is
me
work,
up.
Work.
I mean, not that I wanted to see anybody get hurt, but
You want to see some titties?
But I mean,
tits.
well, yeah,
Why not?
And to this day, we still talk about that shit, and I was not a participant in it, and it really sucks.
It was really the most legendary party ever in St. Louis. I really think it might have to go down in infamy.
Really?
Yes. I wish there could have been a videotape that was recording the whole fucking thing. It's just crazy. People doing cake stands. There was a midget there or two.
Well,
If
you have a
anyone's
house.
midget, I'm sorry.
Why don't you have a huge ridiculous
Because
party?
I'm a cuck in Webster Groves. Okay, I can't do that. Literally, I get yelled at for having the TV too loud outside. I have a TV outside of my patio. Okay, and if it is louder than we're talking as loud as I am right now. Okay, it cannot be up whatsoever. Otherwise, I get the cops called for anything. If the dogs fucking bark like they're barking right now, I get the cops called. That's St. Louis for you. That is Webster fucking Groves. All right. See any other funny stories you want to talk about before we end this shit?
No, man. I think I'm good.
Come on, one more.
I'm tired.
One more, Blue.
I'm tired.
One more. Do you have any crazy Illinois stories? Anything that has to do with the state of Illinois? Then we're done.
No.
Really?
No.
Strip club? Nothing?
No. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's some strip. I mean, nothing crazy happened. Like I said, I always missed out on the crazy shit. Where the cops are called and someone's, on the ground, knocked out by a left hook. Like, I missed... No, I mean, I fucking missed out on all that shit. So, I really don't have any good
Are you
stories.
glad you missed out, or...?
Well, I mean, I would have liked to at least have been... What is that?
I don't know. Go ahead.
I would have at least liked to have been, an
Included.
accessory to it or
Right.
kind of watch it.
That's pretty interesting. Guys, thank you for watching. We greatly appreciate it. We went live at 9:10 p.m. today. 9 p.m. tonight. It is Saturday, but it's about to hit Sunday because it's almost midnight. I just want to see if anybody was actually watching. This is Going Dutch Radio Network. We greatly appreciate it, people. If you have any comments, please let us know. Don't call in anymore because we're about to end the show. Any final thoughts that you got, Blue? Anything at all? Anything whatsoever? Anything local?
Well, the Cardinals are out, and I'm depressed about that.
Could you end in a more depressed note? Jesus, man. Is that really it?
Tomorrow's Sunday. That kind of sucks.
Sunday Fun Day? Are you insinuating that we need to have a Sunday Fun Day?
I think we need to have 2 Saturdays instead of a Sunday.
Let me ask you this, and we'll end the show.
What's that?
St. Louis. I
Yeah.
think it's like the greatest town for Sunday drinking. I feel like everybody fucking drinks. Everybody, man.
On Sunday? Yeah.
Everybody, dude.
Except for me. I don't drink on Sunday.
Yeah, you do. I thought
No.
you do heavily.
Not anymore.
Not
no.
by the pictures I see that your significant other's posting.
Nope.
Is that Saturdays? Are you drinking crazy on Saturdays?
It's just Friday and Saturday that I drink now.
Really?
Sunday through Thursday, I don't touch anything. I don't touch a drop.
I think that's a lie, people.
No, it's not a lie.
I think that is a lie.
Believe me.
Really?
Well, yeah. I mean, we talked about that. You said that. What was it? You talked about there was a Sunday where you got like kind of shit faced.
Yes, I usually drink a lot every Sunday, but I go to bed very early.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
that's right. Yeah, and then you go to bed at 9 o'clock or something like that.
Yeah, dude. I feel that's Sunday fun day, man. You drink heavy, and then what do you do if you drink heavy? Huh? You go to bed early and you wake up, and then you have to go back to real fucking life, man, because that's the way life works, unfortunately.
So that's
these
how
days.
Sunday Fun Day started out, is that you get really drunk to forget about the next day, and then you pass out.
Yeah, and then I wake up, I'm like, fuck, it's the next day.
That alarm clock goes off.
I gotta
and
go to
you're just
work.
like,
I'm in
fuck.
St. Louis. I'm hitting 270 fucking traffic. You know the deal, people. You know exactly what we're going through, okay? Okay. All right.
We're about to get some rest. Tomorrow's Sunday.
Sunday Fun Day. This is Going Dutch Radio Network, people, and we are officially out. We'll see you guys next Saturday. This is Going Dutch Radio Network. Please like and subscribe. Facebook, YouTube, and especially iTunes. That's right, guys. Facebook, YouTube, and iTunes. Yes, we are on iTunes. Go on your iPhone, look up Going Dutch Radio Network, and look our asses up, okay? You will greatly appreciate the amazing content, okay? This is Going Dutch Radio Network, people, and we are officially, we're officially out, right, Blue? We're out, guys. Have a good night.